The following is yet another high school sports presentation brought to you by the high school sports leader in North Texas, 92.1 FM KXEZ, the Possum.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. You're listening to 92.1 FM KXEZ. I'm Ethan Herrera, along with my broadcast partner, Scott Powell. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, we have a couple of teams looking to climb the district standings and get some footing in that playoff race. The Naaman Forest Rangers come in with a record of 3-1 in district play, coming off a 42-21 victory over Wiley. Rowlett 2-5 overall, however 2-2 in district play, tied for fourth place. They took down North Garland last week, 27-7. We'll hear from the head coach of the Rowlett Eagles, Derek Alford, on the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show, presented by Certified Foundation, when our countdown to kickoff continues on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Welcome back to 92.1 FM KXEZ. This is the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show, presented by Certified Foundation, as part of our countdown to kickoff on KXEZ. Here with the head coach of the Rowlett Eagles, Derek Alford. And Coach, it was a great team win to keep your playoff hopes alive last week. Everything was clicking on all cylinders for the most part, but the defense was obviously phenomenal, holding North Garland to 175 total yards. I mean, they were a team that put up 34 points on Saxey, and you held them to their lowest point total of the year. What was working defensively for you last week?
The big thing is our kids lined up and did exactly what they were coached to do, and they did it with emotion and enthusiasm, and they played for each other, not for themselves. And I think that was the biggest reason why you saw the results you saw Friday night.
Well, they were certainly on all sorts of cylinders, just destroying that offense for North Garland. So 0 points on the offensive side in the first half and 24 points in the second half. I know 7 came off the pick 6 from Okeechobee. Did you say anything in particular to your offense in the locker room at halftime to get them rolling, or what were your halftime adjustments?
Quit jumping off sides, quit getting penalties, because honestly, I thought our coaches did a great job of preparing a game plan. We just didn't go out and execute it in the first half offensively. And that was the big thing, is just do what you're told, focus in on James' voice, don't listen to, because they were kind of calling the snap count. Don't listen to what they're saying, listen behind you, not what's in front of you. And once we started doing that, things got a whole lot better for us.
Well, the offense was certainly moving the ball, especially in that second half. But I want to talk about Mike Lubuku and Okeechobee. He was named the Defensive Player of the Week this week by the Dallas Morning News, or last week. What makes him so special to this team, not just from what he does during the game, but during the week of practice?
Well, he's a kid. He didn't miss one day. He didn't miss one workout of the summer. I think he missed. There was one day he missed on a Thursday to go to a camp, and obviously we allowed him to do that. But he never misses. He's always got a smile on his face. He never has grade issues. So there's no wonder everybody in the country wants him. His measurables are 6'5", 250, and then he can run and he can play. But the big thing is he's a leader. He's a leader on the football field, and he's a leader in the classroom. He's just an overall great kid. There's only one thing bad about him, and that's that he's a senior. So we only get him for a few more months.
Yeah, well, he'll be helping out SMU next year. Well, this is the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show, presented by Certified Foundation, as part of KXEZ's countdown to kickoff. Coach, moving ahead to this week, your Eagles take on a Naaman Forest team who's 3-1 in district and just ahead of you in the standings. What does this team do well, this Naaman Forest team, and what are you looking out for this week?
They're really good up front. 55, 56, and 53, I think. They all three play a little bit of both sides of the ball, but they're really good up front. They may be the best team in the district up front on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they're very, very solid. They know their scheme inside and out. They do a great job of just running to the football, and they're fundamentally, they're very, very sound. Coach Prowse has done a wonderful job over there, and I can't say enough good things about them as a football team. They play hard. they'll get after you. You know, they play football the way it's supposed to be played.
Well, that offense, certainly, especially that offensive line, is going to be something to see for your Ja'Cory Brown and for Michael Ibuku and Okio. It'll be a fun game to watch. Well, this week you're back.
Sure.
Now you're back at Homer B. Johnson this week in front of those Eagles fans. And I know away games during district play aren't too far away for the fans to travel, but playing in your home stadium is always welcoming, isn't it? To see those fans there and to get everybody involved.
Yeah, without a doubt. Last time we played there, the Wiley game and the Saxey game, we had a great crowd. And, you know, I don't expect anything different this week. Our kids like playing there. That's our home field. We want to do everything we can to protect it.
Well, Coach, it's going to be a fun game. Thank you for your time as always, and good luck tonight.
Thank you all. Appreciate y'all. You do a wonderful job. You're professional in everything you do. We really, Rowlett, our football program, really appreciate y'all.
Well, we appreciate you. We're having a fun time this season with these Eagles. This is the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show presented by Certified Foundation. When we come back, we will preview the Naaman Forest Rangers as part of the countdown to kickoff on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back on 92.1 FM at KXEZ, just about set for this district matchup between the Naaman Forest Rangers and your Rowlett Eagles. We'll talk a little bit about the Naaman Forest Rangers. I'll bring in my broadcast partner, Scott Powell. And Scott, what you got on this team? What makes them tick?
All you want to know about Naaman Forest. I'm going to get into some of their leading players here in a moment. As always, I want to start with the history of their program a little bit. They've been in the playoffs the last 5 years in a row, all by district losses, by the way. They've won and done in the playoffs, but at least they've been there the last 5 years. Kind of a mixed bag also in the fact that they've had only 2 winning records the last 5 years. So they've been getting in as third, and a couple of third-place teams and a couple of fourth-place teams the last 5 years. They did win their zone and finish as a co-district champion last year on their way to a 6-3 overall and a 6-1 district record. The heyday of this program was 2007-2008 under Bill Patterson. They went 9-3 in 07, 10-2 in 08, lost in the area round of the playoffs. So this program has never gone further than the area round of the playoffs. But again, at least they're consistently in the playoffs, because from 2004 to 2015, kind of early in this program's history. This is not a school that's been around forever, by the way. From 04 to 15, they missed the playoffs 9 out of 12 years. So the last 5 years, they've kind of come back into their own. Look at what they've done this year. Interesting season. They did not play a non-district game because they had some COVID problems. So all their games have been district games. So they're 3-1 and 3-1. Wins over North Garland by 26, South Garland by 34, and then they beat Wiley last week. That's a huge game for playoff positioning. They beat them 42-21 last week, and their only loss to Garland by a score of 56-29. Fairly competitive with a Garland team that's been blowing out everybody. Offensively, they are explosive. 43 points a ball game. Listen to this balance. 216 a game on the ground, 248 through the air, and a total offense of 464 yards a ball game. They've only turned it over 5 times in 4 games, which is not bad. They do have a little problem with penalties. They average 12 penalties for 100 yards a game. And, you know, Rowlett's had a problem with penalties, so we may be here a while tonight if both teams, unfortunately, get penalized a lot. They do give up a little bit on defense, but really the strength of this defense is against the rush. You heard Coach Alford talk about their front four, their front defense. Well, they're only giving up 97 yards a game on the ground. That's one of the best in the Metroplex. They do give up the explosive plays. They're giving up 30 points a game and 225 a game through the air for a total defense of 322. Trey Walton, the quarterback, remember, these are 4-game totals when I give you totals, but he's a 64% passer, averaging 244 yards a game through the air, a little under 1,000. 19.9 per completion. That's outstanding. 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in just 4 games. Kingsley Bennett has run the ball 75% of the time. They have run the ball. I mean, it's Bennett and then nothing else when you look at their stat sheet for running backs. He's a good one, 161 a game, 9.3 a carry. Imagine that, 69 carries and 9.3 a carry, and he has scored 12 touchdowns. So He's explosive. They've got a couple of good receivers. By the way, Bennett has caught 4 passes out of the backfield for 105 yards, so look out for him. He's explosive if they can get the ball to him through the air. Jaden Flores is the leader by far. He's averaging 143 yards a game through the air as a receiver, 23 catches, 575 yards, 25 a catch, and 4 touchdowns. And then Mikey DeLuna, 9 for 158, 17.6. So good average per catches by the receivers. Let's look at this series. This will be the 18th meeting since 2004, and that's about the time Naaman Forest began anyway, so we're not missing many at all. But Rowlett leads this series 13-4, and they've won 6 of the last 7. Remember, last few years, last 5, Naaman Forest has made the playoffs. Rowlett's been right there in the playoffs almost every year, too. So that says something, that Rowlett's kind of had Naaman Forest's number here the last 7 years, and 13 wins out of the 17 that they've played since 2004. And here's something else. Only 3 of these games have been decided by less than 10 points. The average margin of victory in this series has been 22.3, so they've been blowouts. So you might look for that tonight if it's a blowout. Rowlett has outscored Naaman Forest by an average of 32 points a game to 15 points a game in this series. So that's hopefully everything you wanted to know. And we've got some interesting notes on Rowlett as far as some people coming back from injury, especially at the quarterback position. Well, some good news.
Well, it's something we talked about all year long. Harris Boyd, who was injured in the first series in game number 2, week number 2, against Plano. He was out with a broken collarbone. This time he is healed up, ready to go, and a very quick turnaround for that kind of injury as the Rowlett Eagles take the field. But Harris Boyd was outstanding. 3 touchdown passes for 360-plus yards in the first game against Waxahachie, and 30-plus running yards as well. He was the prolific pocket passer that Rowlett wanted to have during the season. James Okolo did a nice job of stepping up, but it is very probable we will have to wait till the first snap to actually make it official. But if, for all intents and purposes, Harris Boyd will be the starter tonight behind center for Rowlett.
And in that first game of the season, the one game that he played before he got hurt early in game 2, he completed 58% of his passes for 401 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, then hurt on the first series the next week against Plano. Okolo did a pretty good job. The one number that I see as significant, Boyd completed 58% of his passes. Okolo has completed only 45% of his passes. So with the Boyd passing game, hopefully we're going to see that consistency that you see from the completion percentage. Other than that, Okolo did a great job filling in. He also was a 1-2 threat. He right now is the leading one of the leading running backs on the team, so he didn't mind tucking it and going. We'll see what kind of a runner Boyd is, although in that one game, Harris Boyd did keep it 10 times for 33 yards, so it sounds like he's not afraid to run with it. But Okolo was really a 2-headed monster in that backfield at quarterback.
This is one of those games that is highly anticipated, especially over the past couple of weeks, because these are 2 teams that are trying to mesh with each other and try to get the next step of that ladder, next rung of that ladder above the other in the district standings. Scott, this is a big game in terms of playoff implications. And Rowlett definitely has the type of team right now, especially their defense, to really make a stance against a Naaman Forest group that is really good on offense. But like I mentioned, the playoff berth, playoff race, this is part of it. This is a big part of it.
Well, Naaman Forest is tied with Saxe at 3-1, 1 game behind Garland. So there's a 2-way tie for second between those 2. And then Rowlett is tied with Wiley for 4th place at 2-2. But only the top 4 go. So somebody's going to get eliminated in there. Tied for 6th is Lakeview Centennial and North Garland at 1-3. The key is Rowlett lost to Wiley, so they cannot finish in a 2-way tie with Wiley for a playoff spot if it's the 4th playoff spot, or they're going to get eliminated on head-to-head. You get into tiebreakers, more extensive tiebreakers, when it's a 3 and a 4-team tie. And if Wiley is going to be involved with Rowlett in a playoff positioning tie, Rowlett needs company. They need a third and or a fourth team. Right now, North Garland would be good because Rowlett beat North Garland last week, and that was a huge win. That has really plummeted their not plummeted, but it's really risen their status in the playoff picture. Right now, Rowlett would be in fifth place and in a lot of trouble of trying to get in the playoffs if they had not beaten North Garland last week.
Well, the teams are up there, and they are ready to see about this playoff picture.
One other thing for Rowlett, this is not a must-win tonight, but a win would be huge, especially with Boyd back at quarterback tonight. But they're still very much in the playoff picture, even with a loss tonight because of last week.
Joel Rios kicks this one off, got at the 40-yard line, and Rowlett will take off right there. The Eagles coming in at 2-5 overall, 2-2 in the district standings, and we are set to go from Homer B. Johnson Stadium in Garland.
What a night for football. Absolutely no wind. The flags are pinned to the poles. The high today was in the mid-80s. This is a Chamber of Commerce evening tonight here in Garland, and uniforms are cool tonight. Rowlett's got those beautiful kind of charcoal gray tops on tonight.
Harris Boyd making his first play from scrimmage since week 2 of the season. In the shotgun, 2 receivers to the left side, pulls this one out, pops it out to James Acolo, cut to the 45-yard line, dives forward. A late flag comes in, but the first play from scrimmage goes from quarterback 1 to the former quarterback 1.
Well, yeah.
In James Acolo.
You got some great nuggets from Coach Alford. He said that
personal foul, number 12, defense, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
He said that there's a great chance that Boyd would take the first snap tonight. True. There's a good chance you'll see Acolo doing other things tonight because I want to take care of his athletic ability. And, yes, he catches the first pass from Boyd. Boy, it's been a long season. Just a complete reversal just at the quarterback position.
Snap pass out to the left side, low for Trey Long, who is ready for that screen pass. Boyd is 1 for 2 now in his first 2 play attempts. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the no, they're going to call it a complete pass, and he lost 2 on the play to the 37.
Yeah, we'd rather have an incomplete pass.
Trips to the right side from the left hash mark for Harris Boyd. In the shotgun, Crow to the right side of him. Here's the snap. Rolls out to the right side. That's Boyd looking right, throwing right, catches at the 30-yard line, and plopped down at the 27. Again, that's James Okola. Man, he looks like he can do it all. He was listed as a wide receiver to start the year out. Then obviously the injury to Boyd got Okolo stuck behind center, and he really flourished after a couple of games. Now 2 catches on the first drive here for Homer B. Johnson Stadium, and a big tight end into the ballgame. That's Ja'Cory Brown down there. Ja'Cory Brown, the all-district defensive end. Handoff up the middle, it goes to Devontae Crow. Gets close to the first down marker on a 3rd and 2, and they might be just short. Devontae Crow had a huge game last week, 80-plus yards, 2 touchdown runs, and it brings up a 4th and 1. I'll get more on Devontae Crow here in a bit as Harris Boyd gets the play from Coach Alford at the sideline. Now they slow down just a little bit. Devontae Crow, Coach Alford raved about his ability on the field and off the field in terms of his work ethic. Now, 4th and 1 from the 26-yard line. Harris Boyd takes the snap, hands up the middle to Crow, bounces around, gets to the first down mark, and passes it. Just gets the first down, and the Eagles convert on a 4th and 1.
Huge. Now they can keep the drive alive. They don't have to try and kick a long field goal, which would have been over 40 yards. So good conversion there.
10 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes off the clock here in the first quarter. Scoreless. 2 receivers on either side of the formation. Boyd stands in the shotgun. Crow to the right of him, who's been great as of late. The snap to him. Crow up the middle he goes, spins around, gets a couple of yards, but hit hard right at the 24-yard line. They'll give him the 23. It'll be 2nd and 8 from that 23-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Scoreless. Trips to the left side. That's Acolo, McGallion, and Long to the left. The lone receiver to the right side is Gradneru. Crow to the left of Harris Boyd in the shotgun. Awaits the snap, claps his hands, takes the snap. Rolls to the left side, throws it, and picked off at the 10-yard line. Open space. Down the 30, 40 to midfield. All the way down the sideline. It's going to be a long pick 6 for Naaman Forrest. Roman Williams. The ball was thrown right at him. Miscommunication from the quarterback and wide receiver right into the hands of Williams, and he takes it back 80 yards for a pick 6.
Yeah, I don't think he ever saw Williams, and good speed. They also blocked it well all the way down the field. Nobody really got near him down this near sideline.
9:03 on the clock, and a not-so-great start for Harris Boyd and the Rowlett Eagles.
Very defeating start to get behind on a play like that.
Rios on for the extra point try. That's Joel Rios, the senior, standing at 5'7", 155 pounds. Hold is down, kick is up, and it's good. Quickly, 7-0, 9:03 on the clock. We'll get the Eagles right back out here after the pick six on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Don't forget, if you can't get us here at 92.1 KXEZ, you can hear us at TuneIn Radio and KXEZ.com. You can hear us anywhere in the world. Just tell the out-of-town friends and family. If you can't get us on the radio, we do stream the games, and we have all the Rowlett games right here on KXEZ. Our title sponsors tonight are Raising Cane's, who also will bring us the halftime show. Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm. There's strength in numbers. Join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today.
Rios here for the kickoff for Naaman Forrest. This time boots it deep. Tajay Librera fields it at the 5-yard line, bobbles it at the 5. He picks it up, tries to reverse his field, and doesn't get back to the 10-yard line. They'll spot him at the 9, and it'll be along the field to go for the Rowlett Eagles and Harris Boyd.
Other sponsors tonight, Lakeview Car Wash, Golden Rule Auto Care, and the Rowlett Eagle Football Booster Club. Save the date for the Audie Murphy celebration in Farmersville, November the 12th and 13th. Audie Murphy celebration in Farmersville. Thanks to all of our sponsors.
There's something going on the field. There might be a penalty and a re-kick. Penalty offsides over here on the kickoff by the Naaman Forest Rangers.
Yeah, they're bringing this back. The officials tonight, you'll hear
offside on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
That's Carl Davis, your referee. Damian Kaiser, the umpire. Joe Baker, the head linesman. James St. Peter, the line judge. Back judge Ryan McLemore. Field judge Brandon Rusher. And the side judge Tony Cleveland. And again, it'll be Carl Davis' voice you'll hear all night long. Hopefully not often. These are two very highly penalized teams on the season, unfortunately.
Something we're going to have to look out for all game long for the Rowlett Eagles. Joel Rios, comes back to kick off once again. This time boots it deep to the back of the end zone, and a touchback to the 25-yard line we go for Harris Boyd and the Rowlett Eagles. Offensive line for the Eagles tonight, from left tackle to right tackle, Carryon Hampton, Standrick Cole, Alex Mateo, Anthony Meinvar, and Jamin Lamb. The receivers, Xander McGallion, James Okolo, Trey Long, and Corey Kirkling, along with Timmy Gradneru, and of course, starting quarterback Harris Boyd and Devontae Crow will be the running back. 8:58 on the clock here in the first quarter, 7-0 after the pick six by Williams and the Naaman Forest Rangers. Shotgun for Harris Boyd from the left hash mark they go. Trips to the right side, the lone receiver Long to the left of the formation. Play action to the right side, out to McGallion, caught at the 30-yard line and goes down after he went backwards after he caught that ball, down at the 29. It'll be 2nd and 6 to go.
Yeah, fake the dive to the fullback, quick out pass, but there were 3 receivers and 3 defenders over there, and there weren't many blocks had as it was all white shirts around the kid who caught the ball, so they've got to do a better job blocking on the flank if they're going to make those plays work.
Turns to the left side. Boyd takes the snap, rolls out to the left, has some time, fires to the middle of the field, and incomplete. The intended receiver was James Okolo. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 from the 29-yard line.
Boy, who would have known Okolo would be this active in the offense? He's been the intended receiver on most of the passes so far. I tell you, Boyd showing off his strong arm. He tried to thread the needle there into double, triple coverage. That could have easily been picked off, but he threw it so hard he almost got the completion. You know, you got to get used to a different ball coming off of Boyd's right hand than Okola's. Boyd with the much, much stronger arm, and I love the way he moves the pocket also.
29-yard line, 3rd and 6, 8:21 on the clock. Boyd out to the left side, fires to the left side, to the sideline, and incomplete. says the referee, after it looked like Trey Long tiptoed the sideline at the 40, and it'll bring up 4th and 6, a 3-and-out for the Rowlett Eagles.
Perfect pass by Boyd, rolling to his left, throwing across his body to the sideline. It took a perfect pass, and it was. He just could not get that 1 foot down. It certainly wasn't Boyd's fault, or Long for that matter. It was a very good athletic play. Just they tried to fit something into a very small window, and it didn't work. And now Rowlett's going to have to give it up, and still no first downs here, down 7-0.
Punt team on for the Rowlett Eagles. Almost blocked as a lot of Rangers got in the backfield. The ball is left at the 40-yard line. Ball's on the ground. Rowlett has it. A big turnover. Jaden Flores couldn't get the handle on it as the punt was end over end, and Flores went off his fingertips, and Rowlett recovered in a big-time turnover on special teams. Gets the Eagles back in action.
Jeremiah Searle with the recovery, one of the linebackers downfield, number 32. Yeah, Rowlett now finally gets a break here after they threw the pick 6 on the first possession. Now they've got a chance to answer with great starting field position at the 46 of Naaman.
They start in Naaman Forest territory. Boyd sends a man in motion. That's Crow. Swing pass out to him, well in front of Crow, and Boyd looks just a little bit off. You know, it's first time he's played in a game in game-time speed since week 2 of the season. Incomplete pass makes it 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line with 8 minutes to go in the first. 7-0. Rowlett trails Naaman Forest.
Ethan, interesting enough, Naaman Forest has not run a play offensively yet. Boy, you talk about keeping them off the field with that offense that averages 40 points a game. They're doing a good job of that.
Double as wide receiver set. Boyd out to the right side and incomplete, intended for Timmy Gradneru, and tipped away by one of those Naaman Forest Rangers, Elijah Hubbard.
Hubbard, just 5'10". He looks taller than that. I'll tell you, so far, every pass for the most part, it seems like he's trying to thread a needle. In other words, the coverage is so good. Almost every pass he's thrown could have been intercepted. In other words, this Naaman Forest secondary is outstanding. They're big, and they just surround the ball on every play where you're having to fit it through very tight spaces. Boyd's got the arm to do it, though.
From the 46, up the middle it goes to Okola, and incomplete. Try to go up the seam to the left side, and that'll bring up 4th down once again for the Rowlett Eagles, not getting anything going whatsoever, and the punt team comes out again.
You might come back to that in the future. Trey Long seemed to be free down this near sideline, but he threw it up the seam like you said. But maybe they can get open on those fly routes, because these shorter routes have been well covered, and they're just having trouble. Still do not have a first down, by the way.
Ty Cooper on to do the punting, and a new punt returner into the ballgame. This one goes end over end in a line drive kick at the 25 and takes a favorable roll for Rowlett inside the 15 and down at the 13-yard line. So we'll finally see the Naaman Forest offense that, like you said, Scott, averages 40-plus points a game, and they lead 7-0 already over Rowlett.
And over 200 yards a game, both rushing and passing, so it's prolific. Go see the friendly folks at North Texas Appliance Rockwall. They're at 1535 East I-30, just south on South Service Road, about a mile from the stadium. You can go by or call 972-771-0393. North Texas Appliance Rockwall, longtime sponsor.
Trey Walton stands at 6'3", 210 pounds in the shotgun. Trips to the left side, man in motion, left to right. A flag comes in, so Naaman Forest still has not run an offensive play. And a flag comes flying in, 1st and 10 from the
Before the snap, false start, number 55 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, you heard the man Carl Davis with that offensive penalty. The false start pushes them back to the 8-yard line. 1st and 15 from the 8. To the right of Walton is Kingsley Bennett, the running back. Man in motion left to right, fake it to him, drops back. Here's a pass from Walton, fires to the middle of the field. A man deep down the middle of the field at the 50-yard line, incomplete. intended for the receiver, Jaden Flores, and the coverage was fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, it was Donovan Moore. Was it Donovan Moore, Scott, or that was Jaden Ellis? I beg your pardon.
Yeah, good. As you said, good coverage. On an island, on a deep post, we found out quickly that this Naaman Forest quarterback's got a strong arm. He is also a big kid. He looks more like a linebacker standing in that pocket in shotgun.
Walden takes the snap, hands it off to the right side. That's Bennett, and Bennett pushed down behind the line of scrimmage. That defensive line for Rowlett. Ja'Cory Brown in there. Wow. Again, this defensive line has been an anchor all season long. The biggest upside of this team comes in firing on second down, makes it 3rd and long.
Trey Walton checks in at 6'3", 210, and he is all of that. So, strong arm. I don't know how much of a runner he is. Remember, their main running back has carried it 75% of the time. He is a workhorse in Mr. Bennett.
3rd and 16 from the 7-yard line. Walden drops back. Here comes the pressure. Fires to the left side and incomplete. Again, intended for the receiver, Jaden Flores, and then tipped away and almost picked off by that fantastic cornerback, Joseph Brox.
A little too much arm there, a little strong arm there. He had the open receiver on the crossing route, and Jaden got it on his hands. It was just too tall and thrown way too hard. I say that, that was a catchable ball if he didn't have so much mustard on it, probably, because he had to reach up with his fingertips to try and bring it in.
Right. It looks like Joseph Brox, who's been, like we've talked about, one of the defensive MVPs for Rowlett all year long. They're putting him on Jaden Flores, who's the leading receiver for Naaman Forest, and now the punt team comes out for Naaman Forest.
Speaking of Brox, he is expecting a short punt waiting at the 43 of Naaman.
This one gets away. Brox fields it at the 50-yard line and waves his hand for the fair catch right there. So midfield mark, they'll spot it officially at the 48-yard line of Rowlett, and we'll see if this time the Rowlett Eagles and Harris Boyd can get on track with 6:47 in the first to go. 7-0 they trail Naaman Forest.
Interesting he called for a fair catch because that was a line drive, a nice little nose-up spiral, but a line drive. Brox, even though he had to back up, had a lot of momentum going when he caught it. It's like they planned to call a fair catch all along,
right,
because I think he wanted to probably return that one.
It's notable that Colton Yarborough is also out for today's game. The first-string running back for Rowlett trips to the left side, past to Trey Long. Bubble screen, past the 45, past the 50, and past the 40 on the other side into Naaman Forest territory, down around the 40. They'll mark him at the 38-yard line. A nice gain on first down. Gets the first down for the Eagles.
Quick hitch screen where blocks are required from the wide receivers, and they got him that time from McGallion for one and Johnson the other, and that's what sprung him. They got good initial blocks right after the catch.
Stretch to the right side, and the shotgun is Boyd. He rolls out to the right side, and the draw play gets blown up. Down goes Crow, and in to make that tackle was one of those guys that Coach Alford talked about, Elijah Johnson, the 6-foot senior.
Now, you might want to burn that play and not see it again tonight. I mean, very slow developing, as draw plays are, but that was even slower than normal. And my gosh, it never had a chance. I'd like to not see that play again tonight.
Loss of 6 on the play, back to the 44-yard line, trips to the right side. Boyd drops back, looks to the middle of the field, and finds Long in and out of his hands, incomplete. And that looked like a ball that should have been caught by Long. He's shaking his head down there.
But do you see again what I'm saying? Every pass, especially down the middle, is surrounded by defenders.
Right.
It seems like he's trying, although this time he had pretty good position, but look at all the defenders around. I mean, Naaman Forest doing a really good job in the secondary, having said that was a very completable pass that probably should have been caught.
The 3rd and 16 from the 44-yard line, and the shotgun Boyd again. Rolling out to the right side, gets a nice block, looks downfield, fires off his back foot, and incomplete, intended for Xander McGallion. Ball is toward the 30-yard line, incomplete, brings up another 4th down. So the defense playing fantastic D against this Rowlett offense.
McGallion broke away at the last second. It looked like it was completable, just a little bit wide on the pass, but a perfect example of what I'm saying. There were 3 receivers, but 4 defenders in the area. Every pass that's being thrown feels like it could be picked off,
right,
especially if you tip it. And this Naaman Forest secondary is going to be hard to beat tonight. They're flooding the zones with receivers, but there seems to be an extra defender in every zone.
Ty Cooper on to punt with a high punt. hitting down at the 15-yard line, takes a roll to the end zone, and wow, it deadens right inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. Ty Cooper, how do you do? And again, the Naaman Forest Rangers are going to start inside their 10-yard line, this time at their own 3.
Yeah, it's only their second possession because of all that mess at the beginning of the game, but they started their first one at the 13 and immediately got a 5-yard penalty. And as you said, this time they're going to start at the 3. So Rowlett's winning the field position battle, but unfortunately they trail 7-0 on the scoreboard.
Bennett to the right of Trey Walton in the shotgun. It's 5:47 on the clock, 7-0. Rowlett trails. This time, Bennett breaks the tackle from behind the line of scrimmage and fires his way past the 10-yard line. And a great job by Kingsley Bennett to avoid what would have been a loss and pretty close to a safety. Instead, has a 10-yard gain for a first down.
So you got to have a lot of confidence in your offensive line. You also got to have some pretty good quickness to be hit in the backfield at the goal line and then take off across the goal line to the outside left. He could have easily have been hit for a safety on 2 different occasions, but great blocking by the left side of the line.
Hand off to Kingsley once again, dancing around, jumping around, spinning around to the 20-yard line. They'll mark him at the 21. Nice gain on first down by Kingsley Bennett.
If Kingsley Bennett doesn't make it in football in his later life, he might want to check out Dancing with the Stars. I mean, this kid has got moves. I mean, it is Barry Sanders-ish in his moves and his dance steps.
5:15 on the clock and counting. 2nd and 3 from the 21-yard line. 7-0 Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Walton fires to the right side after taking the shotgun snap. Fires to his receiver, Mikey DeLuna. And a first down for Naaman Forest, so they're moving the ball quickly here in their second possession, I beg your pardon.
Just a stopper out in the zone. He goes down 10, stops and waits. Had position on the defender because they're giving him a little bit of a cushion. And simple pass and catch, move the chains, first down at the 30.
4:45 and counting, 1st and 10 from that 30-yard line, like Scott Powell said. 7-0 Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Man in motion, right side. They hit the tight end. Ball's on the ground. Recovered by Rowlett, still waiting for it. It is recovered by Rowlett, Ja'Cory Brown.
The big man with the big recovery there.
Chandler Davis, the tight end for Naaman Forest, went in motion, and then their center snapped the ball, and the perfect timing for Rowlett. I mean, not so perfect for Naaman Forest as the ball hit their tight end in motion, Davis. On the ground it went, and Ja'Cory Brown sprung into action and got the takeaway for the Eagles. And look at this formation, bunch set, stacked receivers to the left side, one lone receiver to the right side. Now they widen out just a little bit. Shotgun snap for Harris Boyd, Crow to the left of him. Takes the snap, shovel pass out to the left side. Nice play by Crow, reverses field, goes upfield and gets close to the 25-yard line, making the 26.
Yeah, great job by who was it again? Crow just to grab the ball because it was a high outside pitch. I know it sounded like baseball. Reached up with his right hand and brought it in, and then had the presence of mind of making a pretty good cut inside to get 4 yards out of that.
Same formation, sweep out to the left side. There's Crow once again falling forward for a gain of about 4 on the play to the 23-yard line. Bring up 3rd and 3.
Part of the reason Rowlett is struggling offensively tonight, they are 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Listen to their possessions, their starting possessions. They've started the last 3 at the 46 of Naaman, their own 48, and now the 29 of Naaman. Rowlett is winning the field position battle. They just can't do anything with the football because of being 0 for 4 on 3rd down. And they need another 4 here on 3rd down.
3:30 and counting here in the first quarter. 7-0 Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Boyd, play action, fires to the left side to Okolo, reverses field, and can't make the catch as he tried to turn around, and the guy to make the play was D'Angelo Perales.
Well, Perales had to play catch-up as that he was beaten, but the ball was underthrown. Okolo just had to turn and wait for it to get there, and it didn't get there quick enough before Perales knocked it away. In other words, he came back, recovered on the play, and got the knock away for the incomplete. And here we go now with a 4th down. It would be a 40-yard field goal attempt, and they're going to try it appears, from the left half.
Jacob Martin comes on to do the kicking and try this 40-yard field goal. The kick is up. It looks like it has the distance, and it's good. Jacob Martin breaks the scoring open for Rowlett. It's good from 40 yards.
You know, he just barely fit it in there, and we did a little pregame scouting on the kickers. It looked like he barely made one from about 42 if he did make it, and he just barely got that in. So 40 is about his range, but he made it, and that's all. Hey, it counts as 3. I don't care how pretty it was in the box score, and Rowlett's on the board.
3:17 on the clock. It's 7-3. Rowlett trails to the Naaman Forest Rangers on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
FM KXEZ is your Metroplex home for Texas A&M football and men's basketball. Saturday, 2 days from now, they'll host the Gamecocks of South Carolina. It's a 6:30 kick, pregame at 5:30. All the coverage here on 92.1.
Quick kick out to the 30-yard line, fielded on the run by Naaman Forest. It looks like a face mask in the back, and finally brought down to the 25-yard line for Naaman Forest. On the return was Elijah Hubbard, that 5'10 senior. 3:08 on the clock in the first, 7-0, 7-3, I beg your pardon. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. The only scoring for Naaman Forest so far is a pick six, an 80-yard pick six.
On the opening possession.
On the opening possession for Rowlett. That was Roman Williams to return it. Now, another offensive possession for the Rangers of Naaman Forest. Trey Walton in the shotgun. Hands it to Kingsley Bennett, who dances around. This time bounces the right side outside, gets away from the numbers, and out of bounds. Tajay Labrera got Bennett to the sideline and knocked him out at the 29-yard line.
Well, Labrera did a great job of shedding the block of Hayden Denton, who seemed to have him wrapped up and was going to take him out of the play, and that would have gone for pretty big yardage if it weren't for Labrera bouncing off that block and making the one-on-one nice forward tackle over here on the sideline.
Chandler Davis to the left of Walton. Walton fires this one to the right side, caught at the 35-yard line, close to the first down mark, but he doesn't get it. The receiver for Naaman Forest was Hayden Denton, the 6-foot freshman.
Be glad if you're a Rowlett fan that was a poor pass. Uncovered the receiver just standing there waiting for it. Probably would have gotten the first down and quite a bit more, but he had to go down just to make the catch on his belly. So Walton not very accurate there, but got a few yards out of it.
Approaching 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. 7-3 the score. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Low snap. Walton fires to the left side. Flag comes flying in and incomplete.
They're going to say he caught it with forward progress before he was hit.
And what a catch by Jaden Flores. Joseph Brox was in on the coverage, but a flag was in late. And holding by Naaman Forest pushes them back and deletes that play anyway.
Yeah, that's a big penalty because that would have given them a first down by a half a yard, moved the chains, but now it's going to go back.
Holding.
It's going to be third and
55 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
Make it 3rd and 11 back at the 25. That's a huge penalty. Again, very little wind tonight. Whatever there is at the back of Naaman Forest here the rest of the first quarter, but it's maybe 5 miles an hour. Punters are going to have to earn their punts tonight.
78 degrees here from Howard B. Johnson Stadium. It'll be 3rd and 11 from the 25-yard line for Naaman Forest. Doubles wide receiver set no. 2 to the left side, 1 to the right side. Walton, low snap, takes it, goes out to the left side, fires to the left side, and incomplete. Intended for the receiver, Hayden Denton, if I'm not mistaken. I am mistaken. It was Mikey DeLuna. Incomplete, 4th and 11.
Neither team has converted a third down tonight, and that's why we don't have any offensive touchdowns. Only 3 points on a field goal outside of the pick six. So both teams are struggling to move the chains tonight.
4 first downs for Rowlett to Garland's Naaman Forest 2.
0 for 8, the two teams combined on third down. It's hard to sustain drives that way.
Brox will receive for Rowlett. Punted away. Long punt. Fielded at the 35-yard line. Brox reverses field. Takes it to the left 40-yard line. Ball's in the right hand. Brox going to the right side. Reverses field once again. Trying to get outside and does. Past the 40, past the 45, and finally out of bounds at the 50-yard line. It looked like Brox almost dropped it, juggled the ball just a bit. There is a flag way behind the play at the 30, probably in the area of holding against Rowlett, but we'll wait for the call.
And it's way behind where Brox went out of bounds. It's all the way back at the 32. So the difference in field position, if this is on Rowlett, is going to be...
Rock in the back, number 10 of the return team. Take a penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Naaman Forest.
So they're going to start at the 22 instead of midfield. That is a huge difference.
And look at the athleticism from Joseph Brox. We've seen it all year long and that time was negated. And we'll go all the way back to the 22-yard line with 1:15 to go in the first. 7-3, Rowlett trails Naaman Forest.
Don't forget, 92.1 FM KXEZ, 95.3 The Range, deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. We thank you for listening and your support. Write down this number. We want to hear from you, 972-251-0725. We want you as a sponsor. Great way to reach your customers. Very affordable. Call 972-251-0725. You can advertise on Rowlett football each week.
Boyd, snap pass to the right side and brought down hard by Jaden Flores. The receiver who caught that pass was Timmy Gradneru. With a minute to go here in the first quarter, we will see Corey Kirkling, the fantastic receiver for Rowlett, after this first quarter ends.
I want to mention our Eagle sponsors as we go along here in the quarter. Advantage Storage, Chick-fil-A, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro. More in a moment.
Church to the left side. Boyd rolls out to the left. Here comes the pressure. Sets his feet, fires, and caught a bullet pass and a bullet strike at the 35-yard line. James Okolo with a beautiful hands and a first down for Rowlett.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing we've noticed about Boyd, the strong arm, but he's really good rolling to his left, which is opposite of what you might think for a right-handed quarterback. He seems to throw better across his body than he does rolling naturally to his right with all the momentum for a right-hander. And that is good sign that he can throw that well going to his left.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line. Boyd drops back, looks left, throws left to Crow. Got to the 39, past the 40, and out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Devontae Crow, who they used in the passing game as well as the run game the past few weeks.
More of our Eagles sponsors: Whataburger, Ultimate Driving School, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Sign Guy, DFW, Shenanigans, what a great word, Rowlett Food, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, the Musgrove Agency, Jersey Mike Subs, Jason's Deli, and First Baptist Church Rowlett.
And with that 6-yard gain on first down, that'll bring the first quarter to a close. 7-3, Rowlett trails, but they're in command of the ball. To Naaman Forest on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
Don't forget, if you can't get us at 92.1, we stream at TuneIn Radio and KXEZ.com. So you can hear us anywhere in the world. Tell the out-of-town friends and family. TuneIn Radio and KXEZ.com to get streams of the Rowlett football games as we do them all right here on 92.1 FM.
Start of the second quarter, 7-3, Naaman Forest with a 4-point lead over the Rowlett Eagles. Their lone touchdown, the only touchdown of this game, came from an 80-yard pick six from Roman Williams on the first drive for Rowlett.
You know, not only is Harris Boyd a good quarterback, it makes Rowlett stronger. I know it's obvious to say that since he's back at quarterback, but I think Okola might be a better receiver than he was as a backup quarterback, and he did a pretty good job as a backup quarterback. I think this team's even better because of Okola moving to receiver.
Especially Okola, who lines up in the slot right now. That slot receiver is such a vital position in high school level football.
And by the way, with the second quarter, Kirkling should be starting the second quarter.
And he is on the right side. They go to Kirkling down the right sideline. He had some space and a step on Roman Williams, but Boyd just overshot him. I mean, first play he's in, they're going to go right to him.
Yeah, Corey was out last week for the coach didn't mind us saying for disciplinary reasons, and he had him sit out the first quarter of this game, but told us he would start the second quarter. And as you said, they're trying to hook up with him on the very first play. So, yeah, with Okola moving to receiver, Trey Long has already almost had a catch tonight. I mean, they're even stronger offensively now, not just because of Boyd, but moving Okola to receiver.
Absolutely. Dual wide receiver set on the other side of the formation. Boyd takes the snap, drops back, looks right, fires right, and just wide of the intended receiver, Kirkling. Just a little bit off, and that'll bring up a 4th and 3. We'll see what Coach Alford elects to do, and now the punt unit does come out.
It's a shame. It was completable. It was a comeback pass. He had a step on the defender. It was just way too tall for it to be caught. Rowlett now 0 for 6 on third down, and you're going to have a lot of trouble winning a football game when you can't convert on third down.
Jaden Flores, the deep man for Naaman Forest. Again, it's Ty Cooper out there for Rowlett. Man, Ty Cooper, he looks small out there, just a junior, but he's had a couple of good punts. Low snap, steps into one. Spiral kick out to the right side, hit down at the 20-yard line, rolls around backwards to the 25, and there comes the Eagles to stop it at the 27-yard line. 11:39 on the clock, 7-3, Naaman Forest over Rowlett.
Our Billboard title sponsors tonight, thanks to Raising Cane's Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, and their strength in numbers join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today. Thanks to all of our title sponsors. Folks, go in and see these people who bring you Rowlett football on a weekly basis. Go in and tell them that you hear them on the radio and thank them for sponsoring.
Walton hands this one off to Kingsley Bennett, bounces it to the outside the numbers, down the sideline, had open space and brought down from behind. It was that fantastic defensive back, Emmanuel Evans, we've seen all year long.
Gosh, I thought you were going to say Brox.
Brox is usually one of those guys who's always in it. But
yeah, they've got other good players on that defense, too. It just seems like Brox is a part of everything.
Absolutely. Brox has headlined it along with, of course, Michael Ibukun Okeoti.
Yeah, but we've accused Brox of driving the bus to the games. I mean, we've accused him of having keys in his pocket, and that's a kid that does everything.
He returns kicks. He returns punts. He does it all for this Rowlett team. We might see him on the offensive side next year, folks. He's only a sophomore. 2nd and 1. Make it 1st and 10 as the ball goes out to the right side. Kingsley Bennett, who falls down. A gain of 2 on the play, down to the 38-yard line. 2nd and 8.
Tell you, they're doing a good job with Bennett. Now, field position's been a problem. Naaman started every possession in their own territory. This might be I think this is the best starting position they've had all night. They've been inside the 10 twice. In other words, they've been very conservative, but despite that, they've done a good job with Bennett, who, again, is 75% of their running game, and he averages well over 100 yards a game.
2 tight ends in the ball game for Walton. Walton fires out to the right side and knocked away Michael Ibukun Okeoti. I mean, we saw a play just like that last week. However, Okeoti held on to the ball and took it to the house. This time, knocks it away for an incomplete pass, bringing up 3rd and 8. 10:53 on the clock, 3rd and 8 from that 38-yard line. 7-3 the score. Naaman Forest leads Rowlett. The defense for Rowlett in the last 5 quarters has been outstanding.
Naaman 0 for 3 on 3rd down. We're still looking for our first 3rd down conversion in this football game.
Empty backfield for Walton, but whistles come in. And a timeout by head coach Derek Alford.
Timeout, Rowlett. First choice timeout of the half.
North Texas Appliance, longtime sponsor here on KXEZ. That's where I got my washer and my dryer and my refrigerator freezer, and they're all working and working beautifully. I haven't even had to have them come out and be repaired yet. That's the kind of job they do at North Texas Appliance. It's very friendly service, friendly expertise from the in-house staff, and the delivery guy who installed it did a great job. That's North Texas Appliance in Rockwell. That's where I get my appliances. I encourage you to do the same. Don't forget, we are your Metroplex home for the Aggies. The football team plays Saturday against South Carolina in College Station. That's a 6:30 kick, pregame at 5:30. Full coverage here on KXEZ. And don't forget, our Raising Cane's halftime show, our special guest this week is Mike Williams. He's the new assistant athletic director in the Garland ISD. He also runs this stadium. So we're going to talk about what it's like to run a stadium on a game night and football game night. Also, he is in charge of football within the district. So we're going to talk playoffs and tiebreakers and what all is involved in that. Stay tuned for Mike Williams on our Raising Cane's halftime.
Going out of the clock, 10:52 on the clock in the 2nd quarter. Walton has pressure, steps up, fires to the middle of the field, caught by Kingsley Bennett at the midfield mark and down right there, and a 1st down for Naaman Forest.
Well,
they convert on 3rd and 8.
If you can't get Mr. Bennett loose running the ball, let's line him up as a receiver and send him on a crossing route. He was wide open. Now he was hit immediately after he caught it, so not much yak there, yards after catch, but enough for the 1st down. So this is a kid they've got to find ways to get the ball into his hands. They did a good job there. Give credit to the coordinator.
Trips to the left side. Walton rolls out to the left side, and this fires to the left side and caught at the 45 and out of bounds across the 40 to the 39-yard line.
And another 1st down, back-to-back 1st down. So Naaman finally putting something together offensively as they've struggled here, despite the fact they lead at 7-3.
Kason Rideout on that reception for Naaman Forest. And they'll set up at the 39, 1st and 10 with 10:20 on the clock in the 2nd quarter. 7-3, Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Trips to the right side, left hash mark, going right to left for Walton. Fires to the right side and really threads the needle to the 31-yard line. Caught was Mikey DeLuna to make that catch at the 30.
And there wasn't much head in that needle, I'll tell you. He really threaded that one and he did it basically with a very strong arm. You think Boyd has a strong arm. This Walton seems to have twice the arm, and he used it right there, but they're still a yard short, but that was a first down play.
2nd and 1 from the 30-yard line. Hand off to Bennett. Dances around, trying to reverse field. Now goes backwards. Gets loose to the 35 and brought down hard finally. It'll be a loss of 3 back to the 33-yard line as Kingsley Bennett tried to make something happen and almost did.
Ibukan Okioti, how do we say it?
Ibukan Okioti.
Okioti is the easy part. I stumbled over that. He's the one that made the play happen. He's not going to get credit for the tackle, but he's the one that was in the backfield, almost made the tackle, and just completely shut down the entire play.
Michael Ibukan Okioti, the SMU commit, and
do you practice that all week? I'm so impressed.
And now the reigning defensive player of the week in the Dallas area.
Oh, really? He got the defensive player of the week for the entire metroplex.
For the entire area.
Timeout.
Wow, that's
Naaman Forest.
a lot of
First
schools.
choice timeout of the half.
9:05 on the clock, 7-3. We'll take a timeout with them on the field on 92.1 FM, KXEZ. 92.1 FM, KXEZ. Michael Ibukan Okioti named the defensive player of the week in the Dallas area. His stats from last week: 9 tackles, 2 for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 1 interception and a fumble recovery, and 1 big touchdown for Rowlett.
And he changed the oil on the bus.
Walton fires this one and picked off. Joseph Brock to the 5-yard line, picked it off for Rowlett. Trying to break free and does. Past the 10, the 15, and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That man has been special all season long. Joseph Brock. Wow. And he lost his shoe.
Speaking of bus drivers and oil changers.
I mean, that ball was overthrown by Trey Walton, and the sophomore Joseph Brock went under it like he was the intended receiver and made a brilliant catch and got the ball back for the Rowlett Eagles after Naaman Forest finally got a drive going.
And maybe this is a good omen, but the moon has just appeared beyond the visiting stands. It's really low in the sky, but it looks like it is 99% full, and it is beautiful. Maybe that's a good omen for Rowlett tonight.
Well, now they line up going left to right at the 24, making the 19-yard line. Boyd in the shotgun, Crow to the right. Man in motion left to right, that's Long. Dropping back, Boyd fires to the left side. Okolo making a beautiful catch, caught at the 34-yard line, and James Okolo has been all over the place in the offensive side of the ball.
Just noticing the line play, big number 54. We've already seen his talents for Naaman Forest, Elijah Johnson. They double-teamed him with the center and one of the guards, and he was not even able to take a couple of steps forward. The offensive line has given Boyd a lot of time. Just because Boyd moves that pocket sometimes doesn't mean that there's pressure coming. He's just more comfortable that way sometimes.
Boyd takes the snap, tucks it and run. No. Takes it up, fires to the right sideline, and in and out of the hands of a diving Corey Kirkling. A nice play by Harris Boyd. And Kirkling almost made a spectacular catch, but it goes incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And how exciting and how big was that potentially? It brought Ethan Herrera out of his chair.
I had to stand up because I thought that was going to be a huge play, and it almost was.
Headlong dive by Corey, and just could not. He got both arms on it, just could not hang off. When he made contact with the turf, the ball popped out.
Kirkling, the lone receiver to the right side from the right hash mark, trips to the left side. Play action. Boyd to the right side, picked off again by Roman Williams. Miscommunication from Corey Kirkling and Harris Boyd. It looked like Boyd was hoping Kirkling would stop and come back. Instead, Kirkling ran a post.
Right, good point. I think quarterback expected the stop route, and Kirkling cut it in, like you said, on the post, and quarterback threw it behind him, and just not on the same page. That's a shame. It may not have even been Boyd's fault, or it could have been. We just will never know. But 2 interceptions for the returning quarterback already tonight.
He didn't have any interceptions against the great Waxahachie team in week 1, and now has 2 with 8:11 in the second quarter. Naaman Forest leads 7-3 over Rowlett. Walton, who just threw an interception, hands this to Kingsley Bennett, and wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. This defensive line for the Rowlett Eagles has been potent.
Bennett he doesn't have a great deal of speed. He seems to be a good cutter and a dancer, as we mentioned earlier. So if you can clog up things, which is what Rowlett's doing between the tackles, they're just clogging it up in there, and he's got nowhere to go, and he doesn't have the speed to get through that little crease when it first develops. And they're doing a great job on him. I mean, this is one of the best backs in the district who's doing nothing so far.
Bennett dances around, and this time doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. No, he does to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of 1 to the 45-yard line. It's 3rd and 10 with 7:27 to go.
That time he did some window shopping. He took the handoff, tried to find the best crease. There really wasn't much there. He chose his window and then just got a yard out of it. So that's the key. There's creases at best between the tackles. Rowlett is really gunking up things.
This defense has been great. 7 points, 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, last week they gave up just 175 total yards to North Garland.
Walton drops back, has a man wide open in the midfield. It's Jaden Flores at the 25, past the 20, now past the 15. And as soon as we say something about the defense, they give up a big play on 3rd down and 10 inside the 15-yard line to the 14.
Yeah, and a rare 3rd down conversion. He was wide open on a crossing route. Now the 14-yard line, as you said, that's a 31-yard gain on 3rd down.
With 6.5 to go in the second quarter, it's 7-3. Rowlett trails the Naaman Forest Rangers again. This is a game that could potentially be a very big playoff implication game.
Rowlett needs a field goal here, not a touchdown. I mean, it's a low-scoring game. 14-3 would look huge for Naaman right now.
Kingsley Bennett off to the left side and dragged down near the line of scrimmage. No, a gain of a couple on the play, but a beautiful play by that defensive back once again, Emmanuel Evans, to stop Bennett from gaining a big yardage on that play.
See my point, this is probably going to be a low-scoring game. It's a 4-point game right now, midway through the second quarter. If they could get a field goal out of this, the Rowlett defense, that would be a huge gain here instead of going down by 11 points right before the half.
Couldn't agree with you more. From the 11-yard line, it's 2nd and 8 with 5:45 to go in the second. Walton drops back. Here comes the rush and brought down, but he got rid of it. Incomplete pass, and there were 4 Eagles flocking in to bring down Trey Walton, but he just got it away for an incomplete pass. 3rd and 6, make it 3rd and 8.
Including Okioti, who, I got that right.
You got that one right that time.
Yeah, huge hit. Good job by Walton just to unload the football and not take the sack, because that would have really hurt their field goal range as much as anything, because now it's 3rd down. Right now it would be just a 28-yard field goal attempt if they don't get anything here on 3rd down.
From the 12-yard line, 5:38 on the clock, 7-3. Trips out to the right side. Walton looks to the right after he drops back, moves around the pocket, fires to the back corner of the end zone, and incomplete. Incomplete. The receiver was Mikey DeLuna, who actually made the catch but couldn't get a foot inbounds. It'll bring up 4th and 8 from that 12-yard line.
It looked awfully close there, Mayor, but there was an official. The line judge was right on top of the play. And there's your replay, by the way. It looked like a good call, but great job. It was the field judge who did not hesitate to say it was out of bounds. Good call by Brandon Rusher. We don't normally single out officials for good calls. That was a great call.
5:28 on the clock, and the offense is staying out there. Really? Trey Walton.
It would only be a 28-yard attempt, 8 more yards than an extra point. It is a bad angle from the left hash, but I can't believe they're going for this.
Empty backfield, Kingsley Bennett in the shotgun or in motion. The ball was tipped to the line of scrimmage and caught inside the 5 by Jason Flores.
And he took a pretty good shot from Joseph Brox from behind and still landed hard and held on to the football. That may be the biggest play of the game when we look back on that in the second half.
It was Jaden Flores who made the catch, and somehow Naaman Forest has a 1st down after it was a 4th and 8 from the 12-yard line. This time under center goes Trey Walton with Bennett behind him. Takes the snap. The ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. Rowlett dives for it, and they have it. The Eagles take possession. Their 3rd takeaway of the ball game.
And the 2nd recovery of the night, right? Ja'Cory Brown had one earlier.
Exactly. 2nd recovery of the night for Ja'Cory Brown. Actually, their 4th takeaway.
That's why you put the big man right there in the middle. I mean, it's hard for him not to fall on it when it's right at his feet like that.
Well, instead of going for the field goal to put 3 points on the board, they convert the fourth down. One play later, turn it over, and the ball is spotted at the 3-yard line for Rowlett to go the other way and try to make something to happen with 4:47 in the second quarter.
Rowlett is just hanging in there by the hair of their chinny chin chin. They have dodged a couple of bullets here in the second quarter, and they're still only down 7-3.
Well, the defense has just been amazing. I can't stress that enough. Last week, 0 points given up in the first half, 7 points all game, and now 7 points here to a potent offensive attack from Naaman Forest. Harris Boyd in the shotgun, standing in his own end zone. An extra lineman comes in. They hand it to Crow off to the left side. Crow gets out of a tackle. Forward progress will get him to the 2-yard line. A loss of 1 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 11.
Remember, one possession ago, Brox had an interception at the Rowlett 33, so they avoided giving up points there also. Defense has come up big.
4:20 in
the first half.
4:20 and counting in the first half. 7-3. Rowlett trails. Jacory Brown, the H-back in, moves from left to right. Hand up the middle to Crow, who finds a crease but gets blown up quickly after that. Gets 2 yards on the play to the 4-yard line, making it 3rd and 9. They'll spot him actually at the 5-yard line. Couple of gains, 3rd and 8 from the 5. Under 4 minutes to go, down by 4, the Rowlett Eagles to these Naaman Forest Rangers. Doubles wide receiver set, and now they bring McGallion in and push him out to the left side. Crow to the right of Harris Boyd, who's got his toes on that goal line. In the shotgun, awaits the snap. 3:40 on the clock, drops back, looks right, tries to go to the right side, and gets it away, and caught at the 20-yard line. What a catch, and what a throw. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. It was Corey Kirkling, just in this second quarter, and a big-time first down on 3rd and 10.
Deep out, Boyd on the roll, trying to avoid the pressure. It took a perfect pass, and it was a perfect pass. Not an easy catch, also to get the foot down by Kirkling, just perfect execution.
Shotgun now, 2 wide receivers set from the 24-yard line. 1st and 10, going left to right. Boyd calls the play out to his offensive line, wipes his hands on his towel, drops back after he takes the snap, throws a jump ball to the right side, caught by Kirkling at the 50, the 45, 40, and knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Corey Kirkling. That is the type of effort and the type of attention he draws. But either way, Harris Boyd drops it into the bucket, and 2 big gains. Boyd to Kirkling puts Rowlett inside Naaman Forest territory to the 37-yard line.
22 yards on the last one, 36 on that one.
Trips to the left side from the right hash mark. Boyd in the shotgun, Crow to the right of him. He drops back. Here comes the pressure. Steps up, throws to the right side, and incomplete. A flag comes in at the 22-yard line, making the 18. The intended receiver was Corey Kirkling.
The flag is right where Kirkling made his cut, so this could be defensive holding. Although some of the reaction says it's
holding. Number 5 of the defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Carl Davis with the big call. I called it holding because they threw the flag right where he made his cut, so that's really what it had to be. That's 10 yards only, but an automatic first down. Move those chains.
3:17 on the clock here in the first half to go. 7-3, Rowlett trails. This drive started at their own 3-yard line now. It's at the 27. Whistles come in before the snap, and a flag comes flying in.
Some kind of movement in the line. It looks like it's
false start. Number 64 of the offense. 5-yard penalty.
That'll push him back from the 27 to the 32-yard line.
3:17 on the clock, each team with 2 timeouts, so that's a lot of time with 2 timeouts. They don't have to rush.
Trips to the left side, Devontae Crow to the left of Harris Boyd. The lone receiver, Kirkling, stands at the 30-yard line. The snap, kind of high. Draw play, Crow up the middle to the 30, past the 30, and finally brought down. Gets back close to the original line of scrimmage at the 29-yard line, bringing up 2nd and 12. 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter, 7-3. Rowlett trails Naaman Forest. This drive started at the 3-yard line. Now they're on the move. Trips to the left side. At the number of the 30-yard line, Corey Kirkling stands. Crow to the right of Harris Boyd. In the shotgun, takes the snap. Looks right, fires right. He's got Kirkling. In zone, incomplete. He had Corey Kirkling, and it was Roman Williams, and there's a flag in the
Personal
backfield.
foul, roughing the passer, number 56 on our defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, you heard Carl Davis call the roughing passer, and instead of a 3rd and 12, it's going to be a first down.
Should be about the 14-yard line.
At the 14-yard line with 2:41 on the clock in the second.
And it is
a couple
14.
A couple of big first downs and long plays from Rowlett.
By penalty, 2 first downs
and
for Rowlett.
And a couple of penalties bring Rowlett inside the 15 to the 14. Trips to the left side. One receiver to the right side. Shotgun for Harris Boyd. Looks at the sideline, gets the play. Steadies his offense, takes the snap, and whistles come in. And it looks like it'll be timeout.
Timeout,
Well,
Naaman Forward.
it'll be a timeout by
Second
Naaman
choice
Forward.
timeout of the half.
2:38 on the clock, 7-3, and Rowlett knocking on the door.
Thanks to our Eagle sponsors.
Please reset the game clock to 2:41.
Advantage Storage, Chick-fil-A, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, First Baptist Church of Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike Subs, the Musgrove Agency, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, Rowlett Food, Shenanigans, Sign Guy DFW, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Ultimate Driving School, and Whataburger. Thanks to our Eagle sponsors tonight. And again, our halftime guest will be Mike Williams, the newest assistant athletic director in the Garland ISD. We'll talk about running the stadium here at Homer B, and also he's in charge of football in the district. So we got lots to talk about with the playoffs now just around the corner. Mike Williams coming up on our Raising Cane's halftime show.
2:41 on the clock, coming out of the timeout. One timeout left for Naaman Forest, 2 for Rowlett. 7-3 the score. From the 14-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Harris Boyd takes the snap, fakes the pitch, fires to the right side. He's got a Colo, and fingertip catch. No good. It took the referee quite some time to make a call, and we thought that James Okolo, the entire stadium thought that James Okolo got a foot down, but the referee says no dice. Incomplete pass.
Here's
and looking at the replay, he got it in.
He was juggling it, though, and he lost it.
Incomplete pass.
It looked like he lost the football, kind of got out of the view of the camera there, but it looked like a decent call.
2nd and 10 now from the 14-yard line. Dual halfback set. Okolo to the right, Crow to the left. Harris Boyd awaits the snap, fakes it, throws to the right side. Hit a man wide open at the 5-yard line, but incomplete as the ball was thrown behind him. It was Corey Kirkling.
Kind of a deep slant, almost a post route. Kirkling was open. Just one of the few really bad passes tonight by Harris Boyd. Seemed to rush it, although he didn't have much pressure. You know, a lot of times tonight we've had incompletions on good defense, good coverage where he's tried to thread the needle. That was just not a good pass, and he showed he's human right there.
Absolutely. He took a huge shot at the end of that play, and it was a little slow to get up. Remember, he's coming off a broken collarbone injury, and this is his first game back since week 2. 3:10 on the clock. 3rd and 10, 2:24 on the clock. Trips to the left side. Lone receiver to the right side. Shotgun snap. He looks to the right. Throws to the right. He's got Kirkling back in the end zone. Touchdown, Rowlett. Harris Boyd dropped back and threw a dart to the back corner of the end zone. Corey Kirkling. And the Rowlett Eagles take the lead here with 2:16 on the clock in the second quarter.
We'll give all the credit to the play caller, probably Coach Alford, I don't know, but what they did was they sent 3 receivers wide left, and that cleared the right side for one-on-one coverage. The defender's on an island. Kirkling, it was really good coverage, by the way. It's just a perfect pass over the shoulder of Kirkling, and he caught the ball just inbounds for the touchdown.
Harris Boyd throws the touchdown pass, and Ty Cooper comes in and kicks the extra point. It's 10-7, 2:16 on the clock in the second. Rowlett over Naaman Forest on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
FM KXEZ, 95.3 KHYI The Range. We're deeply rooted and invested here in North Texas. We thank you for listening, and we thank you for your support. We'd love to have you as a sponsor. You can sponsor these Rowlett games. We also do some Caddo Mills football Texas A&M football, just call this number, 972-251-0725. Good way to reach your customers. It's very affordable. We'd love to have you as an advertiser. It doesn't hurt to call, 972-251-0725. And again, our Raising Cane's halftime show guest tonight, Mike Williams, the newest assistant athletic director here in the Garland ISD, will be on with us at the start of the half, hopefully, but he will be on at some point of the half.
Squib kick caught to the left side, the right side, caught at the 35-yard line by Isaiah Wesley, the 6'2 senior, and Naaman Forrest will take over there with 2:14 on the clock.
Sorry about that. 7 plays, 97 yards, and they covered the 97 in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. But 2 or 3 connections with Kirkland. Also some penalties helped. They got 2 first downs on penalties. There were 3 total penalties in the drive.
2:14 on the clock here in the second quarter to go. 10-7. Rowlett with their first lead of the ball game. Trips to the right side for Trey Walton. And the Naaman Forest offense trying to make some headway. Throwing to the right side in the flat and incomplete. But there's a flag down at the 32-yard line. Thrown to the right side, the intended receiver was Kason Rousseau.
Holding the call against the Naaman Forest offense.
Holding. 61 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
You know, we talked about playoff positioning before the game. Rowlett does not have to win this game, but it would surely increase their chances. Right now they're tied for 4th place with Wiley, but a game behind Saxe and Naaman Forest. So if they win tonight, they would be in no worse than a tie for 3rd place in the district.
Second and
for next week.
First and 21 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. Thrown to the right side, incomplete, wide right of Kason Rideau. Second time in a row he's been targeted, but Walton has missed him twice.
Not bad considering this team was 1-5 and 1-2 in district just 2 weeks ago.
Right. 2:04 on the clock in the second. 10-7 the score. It'll be second and 21. From the 26-yard line. Walton in the shotgun, 2 receivers on either side of the formation. This defense from Rowlett has been all over the place and made some huge stops against Naaman Forest. Walton takes the snap. It's a draw play to Kingsley Bennett. Bounces it to the right side. Trying to get outside. Past the 25, past the 30, and knocked out of bounds around the 33-yard line. Nowhere close to the original line of scrimmage. It's still going to be 3rd and very long.
And by the way, also at halftime, besides Mike Williams, our guest, Ethan will look at the stats, and Ethan will have scores. There are a few other games in the Metroplex tonight, but this is the only game in this Garland district because Wiley is at home tonight. When Wiley has a home game, they can usually play the other 3 on Friday night, which they are doing this week in the Garland ISD. Bennett so far only 31 yards on 10 carries, 3.1 a carry. They have done the job on him, while Walton is just 7 of 14 for just 68 yards.
And off to the left side to Bennett. Bennett has some space past the 40-yard line, ran into his own man and brought down close to the first down marker. It'll be the 45-yard line, just a yard short. The line to gain was the 46.
And Rowlett takes what I think is a smart timeout. Why not use it?
Timeout, Rowlett.
Even though you're on defense. Make sure you're straight on what you're doing here. Last thing you want to do is give up the momentum of the touchdown you just scored. You want to keep Naaman from scoring here late in the first half and go to that locker room with an advantage. Right now, 3 points. Now, Naaman also with just 1 timeout remaining, but 1:45 is quite a bit of time on the clock.
10-7 the score. Rowlett with their first lead in the ball game after a beautiful pass from Harris Boyd to Corey Kirkling. Pushed them ahead. 1:45 on the clock. It'll be 4th and 2.
By the way, looking at the numbers here, Rowlett's only got 1 yard rushing in this game. Only 5 attempted runs tonight. The rest have been through the air. They came out throwing from the get-go. Boyd, 10 of 23, only 74 yards and 2 interceptions. But they came out throwing with a quarterback who hadn't thrown a ball in a game since first play of week 2 of the season.
Well, now Naaman Forest brings their punting unit out on the field. They try to get him to drop off sides for a bit, and this time punt it away. Brox, the deep man for Rowlett, will let it fall. Hits down to the 15 and going to be spotted at the 20-yard line. A nice punt to flip the field position. with 1:35 on the clock here in the second.
Be interesting to see. I think Rowlett may just run the ball here and see what happens to kind of determine what they do. They're kind of in that no man's land. You got 1:35, but only one timeout starting at your own 20. Do you just run this clock out, or do you try and make something happen? I think you try a couple of kind of simple plays, and if you can bust it for pretty good yardage, then you get very interested in trying to get some points out of this.
Well, you mentioned they have one timeout left, 1:35 on the clock. It's still a lot of time. But like you said, something in the along the lines of aggressive but mostly conservative.
The good news is if Naaman has designs of getting the ball back also by using timeouts, they've only got one timeout also.
Draw to the left side, and Crow bottled up at the line of scrimmage. They had to get the play off quickly, and the pile still pushing forward. He was hit about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they finally pushed the pile back to about the original line.
One way to kill the clock is to give it to Crow and tell him not to go down.
Absolutely. Crow has been a feisty runner for the past few weeks.
That was the longest, shortest run I've ever seen.
1:08 on the clock and counting in the second quarter. 10-7, Rowlett over Naaman Forest. Harris Boyd trying to conduct this offense for the Rowlett Eagles for the first time since week 2. It'll be trips to the right side. Boyd finally gets the play with 10 minutes, 10 seconds on the play clock. Crow to the left of Boyd in the shotgun from the left hash mark. Trips to the right side. Boyd takes the snap, hands it to Crow. Off to the right side, breaks the tackle past the 20-yard line, and finally brought down to 19 with 40 seconds to go in the half.
Great job by Chandler Davis, the middle linebacker, to stay home. Crow took that over right tackle and then decided, hey, I'm going to cut this back and go the other way. And everybody flowed with the play except for Chandler Davis, who made the one-on-one high tackle.
It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 22-yard line. The clock winding down in no hurry, and it looks like they might just run this one down after running one more play.
One reason that was such a big tackle is that could have gone for big yardage if Davis had not stayed home. And then Rowlett might be trying to get it downfield instead of just letting this clock run out.
And the
Davis literally determined the rest of this first half with one tackle.
Absolutely, and the clock will wind down. The end of the first half, 10-7 the score, Rowlett over Naaman Forest. And it's been a defensive game, and the return of Harris Boyd has turned fruitful so far as he's got a touchdown pass to Corey Kirkling.
10-7. Rowlett, their final choice timeout of the half.
They took a timeout right before the zeros, I guess. The clock says, now they're going to put 1 second back on. Why in the world would you take a timeout there?
I don't know what Coach has up his sleeve, if anything.
Well, you might as well just heave it deep. Just make sure you make the tackle if it's intercepted.
It's a little odd that he took the timeout right now instead of doing it earlier in the clock. I mean, there was a lot of time on the clock just waiting, standing around, and now Rowlett will line up. And Harris Boyd.
A very strange timeout.
Not exactly sure, but now they have a tight end in the ball game. That's Xander McGallion, dual halfback set from the 21-yard line, 3rd and 9 with a second on the clock in the second quarter. Boyd drops back to pass, rolls to the right side, and just heaves this one to the sideline. Incomplete. And that, with a little bit of an odd finish to the first half, will bring the quarter to a close. 10-7, Rowlett over Naaman Forest. Heading to the halftime, the Raising Cane's halftime show is next on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
And we're back on the Raising Cane's halftime show. This is Scott Powell with our guest Mike Williams. Rowlett is leading here at the half, 10-7 over Naaman Forest. Mike Williams, the newest assistant athletic director with the Garland ISD. And, Mike, we have two customs here. First of all, I want to get your thoughts on the first half. Sounds like you were able to watch it. What pretty good ball game here, isn't it?
Right, it is a pretty good ball game. I've been watching some. I did miss that last score from Rowlett, so I'm not sure how they got in there, but I noticed there was both of them tried to start off running the ball, and pretty soon they jumped into that air attack, and took them a while to get in the groove, but I think they've had a couple of good defensive plays to stop them, and that kind of results in our low score there. But so far, it's been an entertaining game. I think people like to see the ball thrown around.
And the other thing we like to do is, especially you being new your first year here in the Garland ISD, take a few minutes to tell people out there who don't know you a little bit about your background, where you grew up, did you play any sports growing up, and then, where you've worked the last several years. I hear you came from El Paso. Is that right?
I did come from El Paso, and it probably won't take a few minutes to tell you about my background. Spent a lot of time in El Paso. Went to high school there. And
which school?
I went to Parkland High School. It's a small 2A school that has since grown into kind of a little powerhouse in 5A Division II there in El Paso. Made a couple of runs here. Got to the third round a couple of times, so I haven't been doing too bad. Went to school in Texas Tech in Lubbock. Played a little ball there.
Oh, really? What position?
As a pitcher, I played baseball. And spent my years there, and went into coaching right after that. I got my first job there in Eunice, New Mexico, a little town right next door to Hobbs.
What years were you a pitcher at Tech? How good were they? They're not like they are now, right?
They were not like they are now. Now they're considered to be one of the premier programs.
Yeah.
I graduated in '76. I played 3 years there. But we played for a gentleman named Cal Segrist, who a long-time
legend,
coach.
Right?
He was, and in Lubbock, he's certainly a legend, and former Yankee big leaguer. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, it doesn't. I did not know about his Yankee background.
Yes. On those road trips, we still traveled by van then, and if you were new to the squad, you had to ride with Coach Segrist. But when you got him talking about the Yankees, let me tell you some good stories. His roommates, those were the Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Bill Scourin days.
Oh, wow.
So he's
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away about 2 years ago.
I take it he's well remembered at the stadium, or
definitely.
Good.
Definitely. A lot of good people played for him, and so we had a pretty good team. We were the first team in Tech history in baseball to win 30 games, only 30 games, and but we didn't have near the success that they're having now. And
go on, you got in, your teaching and/or coaching career, and what has it been all in El Paso?
No, as I said, I started off there in a little town, 2A, Eunice, New Mexico, and then went back to El Paso. My former high school job, took over the head football coach at a brand new high school. So we opened that high school, and I coached baseball and also football about 28 years. And then I took a short stint there in Corpus Christi. Went down to King High School, and the job there in the athletic office opened up for assistant athletic director there.
And that's where you got it all started, huh?
That's where I went back to El Paso, and spent 14 years in the office. Yeah,
we're Parkland in El Paso. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I went back to the athletic office in Parkland, Parkland's district, but I was the assistant athletic director for one of my former head coaches that I worked with at the high schools there in town.
And then you came here. Why? What attracted you to Garland? Why did you want to come work in the Garland ISD?
I had a few connections here. I knew a few people. I know some of the people in the Dallas area, particularly on the baseball side, around this area that were from El Paso, and Garland. Everybody told me, said Garland's a great place to be, and that kind of caught my interest. And so
quite a change from El Paso to Garland, isn't it?
It is quite a change, but I've found the people here to be very friendly and welcoming. I've certainly enjoyed, the past couple of months that I've been here. Everybody's been super nice and helping me find my way around, and I got to say I really enjoy the people.
Can we easily say the biggest difference in El Paso and Garland is humidity and/or lack of?
Still not quite used to the humidity. I'm used to the hot temperatures, but when there's no humidity, it's a dry heat. And
I mean, what's the highest it ever gets in El Paso? 40% maybe?
Yeah.
And that's during a heavy rain?
Yeah, that's when we have a thunderstorm rolling in. You bet.
Yeah, quite a difference in climate. Tell us about your family.
My wife, she works for the state, and she's yet to join me, but that hopefully is happening pretty quick. I do have my son with me here. He's a tech graduate also, and it's been fun reconnecting with him. And he's actually a teacher here in one of our high schools at Memorial Pathways, teaching math. My daughter is finishing up at Tech this semester, and she'll be heading in the physical therapy school, hopefully, within a year or two.
This is Mike Williams, Assistant Athletic Director in the Garland ISD, here on our Raising Cane's halftime show. Rowlett is in the lead, 10-7 over Naaman Forest here at halftime. Kind of an interesting time to come to the Garland ISD. Quite a few changes in the department, the athletic department. You got the passing away of the legend Homer B. Johnson, for whom this stadium is named after. The retirements of Executive Athletic Director Cliff Odenwald and Sam McElroy, who also ran this stadium, which is something you now do as part of your job. Just talk about the legends that you're following here, and what a complete change, although I take it you still do things pretty much the same way here.
Yes, there are, handling the sports, that's pretty similar. There's different ways of doing things, but thank goodness for Judy Campbell.
Yeah, I was going to say, is she kind of the person you bounce things on when you're wondering, what do we do here? She's the Judy Campbell, the other assistant athletic director. She's the one person who's still here. So talk about her importance.
Absolutely. She's the one that she knows pretty much.
She knows where everything's
history.
Hid, right?
She knows the names. She knows the people, and everybody knows her. So that certainly helps when you're navigating your way through a new job, a new town, a new school district. But she has just been super. And of course, Dr. Griffin. He's got a little athletic background there, and
I saw him play high school basketball. He was a great basketball player, by the way.
I understand he was pretty good in college too.
Yes, he was.
But enjoyed working for him. He brings another dimension to athletics, because he's really in tune with sports, and also with the academic side of things, which has been very, very helpful. And
an ex-principal at a couple of different places, yeah. He brings an interesting background. I talked to Judy before we went on the air tonight, and she's saying the great thing about all you new folks coming in is you come in with new ideas, and y'all are constantly talking about new ways of doing things.
Yes, and that it always helps to hear new things, and with some of the things that I've seen here, I really like a lot of the things that are happening here, and hopefully I can and maybe help enhance if there's anything that comes along, that there might be another way, but I'm certainly here to support everything they have going. And as I said, I've really enjoyed meeting the coaches, getting out and watching the kids play. That's been the most enjoyable thing, particularly coming off what we've just come off of everywhere in the state of Texas and across the nation.
You one of your job requirements is to be in charge here at Homer B. Johnson Stadium. You took over for Sam McElroy. I know you have other duties that we'll get into in a minute, but part of your job is to run this stadium on game nights. What is that like? Just if it's a quiet night, I take it that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. We do like the big crowds with the excitement and everything. It gets a little hectic, but that's what it's all about. We want to see a lot of excitement, generating a lot of interest in our football teams. And we have Coach Hill here. She actually runs the operation
Joyce.
here.
Joyce
Yes.
Hill? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
She's been here a while, hasn't she?
And she does a super job with that, and all of the stadium workers are very experienced. So
how many employees do you have on a football game night?
Usually the list is about 32, and that includes the people that are up here, and each and every one of them play an important role in making it all work and achieving that goal. We're trying to create a great experience for the kids and the spectators.
And you're talking about ticket takers, people who actually take the tickets at the gate. I take it you're including concession stand workers also?
Right. They're the concession stands. We have a group that operates that, but we have students that come in and that are able to help here. But the people are very accommodating, and they're very friendly, and they're good business people.
Are you looking for employees? Has COVID hurt your employee base? Are you looking for folks? If you are, where would they apply?
Well, they would just call the athletic office if there's an interest. There's always openings, and the bulk of the work is here at the stadium, but there's also opportunities at some of our other venues too.
Mm-hmm. And you don't just you don't have a track here, so you do soccer here, I take it also.
We do soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer's coming up.
You ever wonder why there's not a track here? Because you could have track meets here too if you had a track.
Well, it's not unusual to have a sunken bowl like this without a track. That's
common with the bowls?
Yeah. They have a nice track. I've been over to the track at Williams, and
right.
It's a pretty nice track.
Let's talk about your other duties, though. What other sport? You're in charge of football, but also you're in charge of a lot of sports. Well,
yes, and it's football, middle school and high school, but again, a lot of people help with that.
I know you're not the only one.
Right.
Yeah.
We have our women and men's athletic coordinators at each campus. They do we have a lot of games in the sub-varsity level that take place on our campuses, and they're the ones that spearhead those, so you can't do it without them. And it's soccer will be the next team sport I have, and then I'll finish with baseball in the spring. But I do have some individual sports. I've got team tennis and spring tennis, gymnastics.
And that's kind of a new sport. UIL still does not sponsor gymnastics, or where are we on that with the UIL?
No, it is the Texas High School Gymnastics Coaches Association that oversees it, but they do follow UIL rules basically when it comes to eligibility and things like that.
But they're all kind of coming around. I remember a day when soccer was not UIL sponsored.
Right.
So
right.
Are there any sports out there that are like field hockey or something like that? Any others that the UIL hadn't picked up yet?
Well, occasionally they're on the radar, and they've been on the radar for a while, but water polo will be the next sport we see.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't know about that.
Yes, sir.
That's what the Olympics will do for you. It makes you aware of some other sports like water polo.
Absolutely.
That's a big Olympic sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about football with the playoffs coming up, and kind of as our last topic,
sure,
kind of what all is involved with that. Now, first I want to check the tiebreakers with you. I'm a big tiebreaker guy. I'm the guy that really loves to predict, what teams' chances are with 3 weeks to play, and we do Rowlett, so I'm always looking at Rowlett's chances. So, what's the maximum points that you can get on a tiebreaker, a 3-4 team? The most you can win by is what, 17 or
14?
It is 14.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, last week when Rowlett beat North Garland by 17 points, if it becomes involved in a tiebreaker, they only get credit for 14 of them.
Correct.
In other words, I take it your intent there is to try and keep the teams from trying to run up the score on lesser opponents. In other words, you don't need to win by more than 14 because you're not going to get credit for more than that 14-point margin if it comes down to a tiebreaker for a playoff, right?
Right.
So you just don't want to run up the score. Are you trying to avoid it that way?
Well, that would be one of the results of having that cap, let's call it.
What other reasons are there?
Well, with the tiebreakers in there, you'll have to, particularly at the end, we talked a little bit about overtime games. Those count too. So you got to keep that in mind. When a lot of times when a team takes a lead in overtime, they forget to kick that extra point.
Great point. So you make them kick the extra point just in case.
Right.
Or I guess they don't have to, but you tell them it's going to count. Go out and kick that extra point.
Right. So it could.
That's a great point.
So there's a few things, but mainly it helps, to keep a team, like you said. You've already kind of elaborated on that from blowing the top off.
So you've got head-to-head first. So if it's two teams tied for one spot, obviously head-to-head decides it easily.
Yeah, head-to-head will be the first criteria.
If it's 3 or a 4-team tie for like fourth place, which is a possibility at this point.
Yeah,
everything's a possibility right now. But anyway, that's where you would get into these point systems, how much you beat the other. Let's say you might have 3 teams. One beat one, that one beat the other, and the other beat the other. In other words, you don't have 2 teams that beat one of those teams.
Right.
Then you got to get into those point differentials. What if all of those are 14-pointers and you're still tied after point differential? What's the next step in the tie-breaking process?
Well, the next step, you'll take it through the points, but if you get down to the end and you're stalemated, it could come down to a coin flip.
Well, isn't there one more step before the coin flip, or is there more than one step?
Well, once we've determined all the points, and you go against common opponents.
Common, okay.
Yes. So
that's going to be all the district schools.
The common opponents involved in the tie. In other words, let's say it's 3 teams. Those 3 teams, we're counting their points.
All their games?
No, just the against each other. So when you get down and look at it with...
Well, yeah, but if that's still tied...
It'll come down to a coin flip.
So coin flip is after that?
It could be, yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I just wanted this for my own information because I like to try and keep up with it. And we're kind of at that time of the year where it's getting very interesting and you're coming up with all the I'm kind of a big scenario guy on all this. Now, let's talk about how you actually get to this point. First thing you do is determine who the 4 teams are before you division them off, right?
Correct.
You decide who the 4 teams are, and then you got to have 2 Division 1s and 2 Division 2s. Before we get further into that, this is Mike Williams, Assistant Athletic Director with the Garland ISD. We're on the Raising Cane's halftime show. Rowlett leading Naaman Forest 10-7. Before we get into that, how come 6A has not divisioned off their teams like 5A has? They've already pre-divisioned their teams, right, in their districts, and hasn't 4A and maybe 3A, and how far down does that go? And how come 6A is not doing it? And do you see that happening in the near future?
And those are the things that UIL is always studying. So I can't predict if it's going to happen in the future. It does extend down to the 4A football and 5A, but it hasn't been adopted yet in 6A football, and that's where we are. So again, that's a UIL thing.
How can they do it? I mean, if you pre-assign a division to each school, and that's what they're doing, right? Before the playoffs even get here, they've decided who's 1 and who's 2, right?
Yeah, well, they've decided based on enrollment.
Right,
yes.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yes.
But what if you can't get, what if you can't find 2 Division 2s that have been pre-assigned to make the playoffs? You see what I'm saying? What if your bottom 4 teams in your 18 district are all Division 2 schools, and the only ones making the playoffs are the 4 Division 1 schools that you pre-assigned? I mean, that is possible, right?
Well, it could be. When UIL does the realignment, which is coming up, it's coming up in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
They'll take that snapshot. You don't find out what your districts are till February 1. And during that time, they try and make sure that they have all of that resolved.
Gotcha.
So that's why
So they know what they're doing.
They do know what they're doing. They've been doing it for over 100 years. So, they'll find a way to make everything work. And
it's funny you bring. Why don't we move into that as a last topic? If you got another second. With realignment coming up, do you see any major changes with the Garland ISD, or is it going to be the same with Wiley, probably the same district the next 2 years?
Well, once again, that's one of the will be one of the most talked about things here for the next couple of weeks and months until the numbers come out.
You haven't heard anything that you can shed light on?
Until they come out, it'll be one of the most talked about things.
Okay.
But there'll be all kinds of predictions come out, and but until we open that package on Feb 1, who knows?
You know, I know that South Garland went down a few years ago. Are you seeing anything like that, or do you not want to talk about it?
I'm not really familiar with the situation that happened in the past, but I'm getting up to speed on things of the past history for realignment here. Mm-hmm. But again, until February 1 hits, I'm not even gonna attempt to make any guesses.
I got you. I appreciate the time.
You bet.
This has been real enlightening. I've enjoyed it. Nice meeting you, and hope you enjoy your new job here, and hope you are enjoying it, and hopefully you'll be around a while.
I do too, and I have been enjoying it, and we certainly appreciate your coverage here.
And I've lived here. I'm 61 years old, and I've lived here for 61 years. If you need any advice on restaurants or anything at all, give me a call. I can be a tour guide for you here in Dallas.
Well, I'll absolutely take you up on that.
Thank you. That's Mike Williams, Assistant Athletic Director for the Garland ISD. He is our Raising Cane's halftime show guest. We'll be back with some scores from around the area in the first half stats. Rowlett leading 10-7 over Naaman Forest here at the half. We're back after this timeout.
Back here on 92.1 FM, KXEZ on the Raising Cane's halftime show. 10-7 the score. Rowlett Eagles over the Naaman Forest Rangers. It's been a defensive first half. The same kind of scenario we saw last week against North Garland. These Rowlett Eagles have been on some sort of roll defensively, headlined by their front line, Ja'Cory Brown and Michael Ibukun Okeoti. We'll get more into the first half stats with Scott Powell, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about what is going on around the area. We've got some South Lake Carroll action against Northwest Eden, 28-10. Mesquite Horn and Skyline in that district with the Rockwall and Rockwall Heath teams, 21-7. Skyline over Mesquite Horn. West Mesquite 8, Wiley East 13. Looking around to see, and those are the only couple of games around the area. It is Thursday night. A lot of teams do play. Most of the action obviously will be on Friday night. Here, it's North Forney. Actually, Corsicana and North Forney will get you this score, 23-20 at the half. Corsicana ahead of North Forney. We called that district last year on KXEZ as we were the broadcast team for Royce City. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get more into the first half stats when we return on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back here on 92.1 FM at KXEZ. It's the first game back for Harris Boyd. The quarterback won for the Rowlett Eagles. Had a great game against Waxahachie in week 1, and then had a collarbone injury that we were told it was a broken collarbone that he's recovered from, and this is his first game back under center for the Rowlett Eagles. James Okolo did a heck of a job filling in for Harris Boyd all season long, and now Boyd takes his lead under center as the teams run onto the field, and we're just about ready to start the second half from Howard B. Johnson Stadium in Garland. Total yards for both teams. Rowlett 154, Naaman Forest 137. It's been a defensive game for 2 quarters. Only 8 rushing yards. Yeah, only 8 rushing yards of the 154 total yards for Rowlett, 49 for Naaman Forest. They've had 10 rushing attempts, the Rowlett Eagles, and only got 8 yards to show for it. Passing for Harris Boyd, 13 for 29, 45% completion percentage, 146 yards through the air, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. For Trey Walton, 7 for 15, that's 47% completion percentage, 88 yards and an interception. Rushing attack for Naaman Forest, it's been Kingsley Bennett, 50 yards, no touchdowns. Devontae Crow, 8 yards on 10 attempts. And we are just about underway for the second half as a skip kick out to past the 35-yard line. Reverse the field, that's Williams. Williams getting bottled up and brought down at the 26-yard line. Roman Williams fielded the kick on a hop, and then it was Jaden Ellis to run him down to the 25, and that is where the Naaman Forest Rangers will start the second half. A couple other totals on the offensive side for both teams. Receiving-wise, Naaman Forest, Jaden Flores, 2 receptions, 41 yards. Mike DeLuna, 2 for 18. Kingsley Bennett, 1 for 12. Raidu, 1 for 11. As they get set for their first play from scrimmage in the second half of play, down by 3, 10-7. Walden hands off to Bennett. Bennett runs up the middle, dances around, gets to the 30-yard line, and pushed back by that front 7 for Rowlett. Again, defense all over the place. They're going to give him forward progress to the 31, which I think is quite generous. Scott, what do you think?
I agree, but forward progress, I tell you, he's got a quick jump step that he uses in the beginning of the run. If he doesn't like the hole where he's supposed to go, he does a quick jump step to his right and got 5 on first down. He's not the quickest guy in the world running forward, but he certainly is juking and dancing.
11:15 here in the third quarter. 2nd and 5 from the 31. Pass out to the right side. That's Flores. Hit as soon as he caught it, but he pushed his way ahead close to the 35-yard line and a couple of yards short of the gain, which is the 36.
Good job by Jaden, because he was surging forward, and he had a good chance of getting forward progress another yard for the first down, but Rowlett was able to stand him up and push him back and hold him about a yard and a half short here on third down, because if they don't get it on third, they're probably going to have to punt it away in their own territory.
3rd and 1 from the 36-yard line, from the 35-yard line. The 36-yard line is the line to gain. Shotgun for Walden, hands it to Bennett. Kingsley bounces around. He's got the first down, and then a yard after that to the 37-yard line, make it a 38.
See the jump step?
Absolutely. Every time he gets that ball, like you said, Scott, takes a little hop one way or the other.
Although I think he would have had the first down without the jump step, because the surge by the left guard and left tackle was huge. He could have gotten 2 or 3 easily, but it's almost like a habit. He always does the jump step and got a couple extra.
Trips to the left side now for Walden, who claps his hands, takes the snap, drops back. Here comes the pressure from Rowlett. Fires across the middle, caught at the 50-yard line, past the 45-yard line into Rowlett territory. A good pitch and catch from Walton to their wideout receiver, Mikey DeLuna, the senior, 5'9", at 175.
Good job. We've mentioned it all night, threading the needle. These quarterbacks with such strong arms, they can fit it into tight places, and that right up the middle with lots of gray shirts around. Jaden Ellis had him grabbed down low at the ankles while he was catching it, and then he got hit pretty good, but he still hung on for the first down.
Trips to the left side. They hand it to Kingsley Bennett, who bounces around. Again, hop steps across to the 40-yard line. A gain of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. 9:35 on the clock here in the third quarter. 10-7, the Rowlett Eagles over the Naaman Forest Rangers. It was a pick 6 on the opening drive for Naaman Forest to break open the scoring, and they haven't sniffed the end zone since. Trips to the left side from the middle of the field. Trey Walden in the shotgun. Kingsley Bennett to the left of him. Low snap, fires to the left side on the flat, and caught at the last second was Mikey DeLuna, who didn't see it until that ball was right on him. Almost a dangerous play and a fortunate play for Rowlett. However, it's a pass completion for a 3rd and short.
Yeah, it's a short out pass, and it's a timing pattern. DeLuna didn't even turn around yet when the ball was thrown, and he almost didn't turn around in time, because the minute he got turned, the ball arrived. The timing just a little bit off, but DeLuna showed good hands.
8 and 10, the lone receiver to the right side on the far numbers, and the shotgun is Walden. He drops back, whistles come in at the flag.
This could be a huge 5 yards for Rowlett against Naaman, because a third
Ball start, number 3 of the offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Now becomes a 3rd and 8. Now very much 4-down territory, because they're way out of field goal range. So think of the fact they got 2 downs to get it, but now they need 8.
There is a downed Ranger sitting at the 43-yard line.
Injury timeout.
That's Aiden Chapman.
Don't forget, once again, if you can't get us at 92.1, you have some friends and family out of town, they can hear us anywhere in the world at either TuneIn Radio or KXEZ.com. Just click on the apps, and we've got all the Rowlett games streamed in those places, as well as the
game clock to 8:40.
You can hear us anywhere in the world, so tell those out-of-town family and friends. Our title sponsors tonight are Raising Cane's, who also sponsored our halftime show, Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, and their strength in numbers. So join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today. And one of those sponsors, North Texas Appliance. Go see those friendly folks. Don't forget about those scratch and dent appliances. They're at reduced prices, and you can't even find a lot of the scratches and dents. They also have first quality at good prices. That's North Texas Appliance in Rockwall.
Out of the injury timeout, 8:30 on the clock, 3rd and 8 now from the 41-yard line. Kingsley Bennett up the middle, dances around, has some space across the 35, fights for that first down and gets it. He gets to the 31, and the Naaman Forest Rangers convert on a 3rd and very long and get the first down. They roll the chains.
Yeah, they needed 8, didn't even need 4th down because he got 10. Good quickness. That might be the most quickness we have seen out of him tonight, as he actually got probably one of the biggest holes he's seen all night, as their running game has greatly improved. Something tells me there was something going on in the locker room talking with those offensive linemen at halftime.
Walden takes the snap, hands it to the sweep side of Kingsley. Bennett gets wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Rowlett defensive line comes in big again.
So there you go. What's worked for him? What's been the bread and butter all the way down the field? Between the tackles, quick hitters, the jump step. So what do? Here they try and go wide and they lose yardage. Dance with what brung you. I'm not too old.
I like it. Hey, that's what I live by too. Go with who brought you to the dance. That's Walden. Snap pass out to the left side. That's Flores. Gets past the 30-yard line and brought down by a couple of Eagles near the 25-yard line to the 26. It'll be 2nd, make it 3rd, and medium range.
The only reason that play worked is Mickey DeLuna has caught the ball tonight, and he just showed he can block also because he cleared out the cornerback who came racing in and probably would have made the tackle if DeLuna didn't push him out of the way and give his receiver some room to roam.
5 minutes off the clock here in the 3rd quarter. 10-7, Naaman Forest over Rowlett. 3rd and 5 from the 26-yard line. It's going to be trips to the right side for Trey Walton. To the left of him is Kingsley Bennett. To the left on the far side is Jaden Flores, the lone receiver.
Remember, they're now in field goal range.
Walton drops back, low snap, rolls out to the right side. Here comes the pressure, gets out of it, tosses it to Bennett, who's got open space. That's the 20, the 15, 10, out of bounds at the 5-yard line. They'll mark him out of the 6 and finally run out of bounds. There'll be a 1st and goal on a big first down run for Kingsley Bennett. Actually, it was a pass forward, that Kingsley Bennett took to the 6-yard line.
Great job by Walton just to create something out of havoc. He couldn't find anybody open downfield. Was getting ready to probably be hit from behind, and he sees his running back about a yard away off to his left and just improvises it, dumps it to him. And since everybody else was clearing out downfield, Bennett had plenty of room to roam. 1st and goal.
Got in the ball game. That's Chandler Davis. Walton takes a low snap, hands it up the middle. Bennett dances around. Kingsley Bennett fights for the end zone. Touchdown, Naaman Forest. They finally get on the board offensively. Their first offensive points of the game come with 6.5 to go in the 3rd, and they take the lead 13-10, ending the extra point.
Nice drive, 74 yards in 11 plays. They used 5 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock, by far the longest and most impressive drive for either team tonight. And also, they were 3 out of 3 on 3rd down, something that neither team could do in the first half, convert a 3rd down.
Joel Rios on for the extra point try. High snap, it gets down, and it's blocked. Blocked by who else? I think that's Joseph Brox down there. No, it's going to be Jaden Ellis. Came around to make the block, and like I think you were going to say, it's got a big-time block in special teams play.
Huge, because it's still a one-possession game. It's a 3-point lead, and the extra point would have made it a 4-point lead. So that may come back to be the big play of the night.
13-10 on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Some of our other sponsors tonight: Lakeview Car Wash, Golden Rule Auto Care, and the Rowlett Eagle Football Booster Club. Save this date for the Audie Murphy celebration in Farmersville, November 12th and the 13th. Join the Audie Murphy celebration in Farmersville, November 12th and 13th.
Joel Rios kicks this one off, fielded by Joseph Brox to the 5-yard line. Has some space, makes a move, past the 25-yard line, past the 30, and finally brought down. But he was one tackle away from breaking out a huge kick return. To save that play was Dominique Hall, the 5'10 junior.
Blocking the back, number 6 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, we've had a lot of those tonight. Penalties on returns, kick returns.
Donovan Moore with that penalty pushes back the great return from Joseph Brox. So the ball will be spotted at the 21-yard line for Rowlett to take over for their first possession of the second half. With 6:24 on the clock. Man, a long possession by Naaman Forest on that opening drive.
Don't forget, we've got the Aggies Saturday. We are your Metroplex home for A&M football. They'll host South Carolina, 6:30 kick, 5:30 pregame. Full coverage here on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Correction, the ball will be spotted at the 11-yard line. With 6:24 in the third quarter, 13-10. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Trips to the left side, to the right is Corey Kirkling, the lone receiver. Flags come in from the back judge.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
No, we hadn't seen that in a couple of games, but earlier in the season, that was a big thing where they came out of a timeout or first possession, and they had a delay of game.
Yeah, the worst time to have delay of game.
Now it'll be 1st and 15 from the 6-yard line. Boyd. Snap pass to the left side, in and out of the hands of Timmy Gradneru, who was hit after the play. Well late, and his teammates push him back and get him out of that little scrum, that would-be scrum. A late hit that wasn't called, and now to be 2nd and 15 from the 6-yard line with 6:19 in the third. 13-10, Rowlett trails the Naaman Forest Rangers. Dual halfback set, make it dual wide receiver set. Devontae Crow to the left of Harris Boyd in the shotgun. Takes the snap, looks left toward the middle of the field. Avoids a sack, throws to the flat. He's got a Colo at the 15, makes a move at the 20, down the left sideline, outside the numbers, 30, 40, cuts it back to the inside to midfield. James Okolo is a madman, and Harris Boyd got him the football. But a flag in the backfield in the middle of the end zone.
It's either going to be holding or roughing the quarterback.
Number 60 held in the end zone. Therefore, it's a safety.
Yeah, you hold in the end zone and it's a safety. They just cost Naaman or Rowlett 2 points. What happened was that was an offensive lineman. One guy got a hand on Boyd while he was in the pocket. That one guy was then held by the offensive lineman Cole Standrick. Even though Boyd was able to step up, they called the hold, and that's 2 points when you do it in the end zone.
And a tough break after a brilliant play by Harris Boyd and James Okolo. And now, after that blocked field goal, which made it a 3-point game, it's a 5-point game, and now Naaman Forest will get the ball back.
And to me, the real insult on a safety is, yeah, you give up 2 points, but you also have to kick the ball away, and they'll have to do a free kick from the 20. Now, you can either punt it or kick it, but they have to kick it away despite giving up the 2 points.
Ty Cooper has been the punter today, although Jacob Martin for most of the season has done that job. 6:06 in the third. It's 15-10 now. Naaman Forest leading over Rowlett. And it looks like it will be Jacob Martin who puts it down at the 20-yard line. Tough break for the Eagles.
Interesting to see what he does with this, that they chose this instead of the punt. There is no wind at all, so you figured he could get a good punt off. We'll see what kind of distance he can get out of this. Maybe they'll directionally kick it. But Naaman, I mean, their return guys, their deepest return men are at the 35 of Naaman Forest.
Jacob Martin.
Good kick.
Booms it out to the 25-yard line, fielded by Kingsley Bennett. He goes forward, has a couple of blockers, past the 35, past the 40, makes a couple of men miss down to the 45-yard line, 5 yards shy of that midfield mark. The ball came loose, but it'll be marked down, of course, at the 45.
Well, look at the return you get out of it. I mean, a good kick, don't get me wrong, but it's low, and that's the best he could do. And they got over a 25-yard return out of it, and they started around midfield because of it. It's 45, so it made it a 21-yard return.
5:56 here in the third quarter, 15-10. The Eagles trail the Rangers from Naaman Forest.
When you make them free kick it from the 20, you're going to get good field position out of it and maybe great field position. Actually, Rowlett's lucky they're only starting at their own 45.
And off to Bennett. Up the middle he goes. Kingsley makes a man miss and hit after a couple of yards. A gain of 3 on the play to the 48. 5:45 and counting in the third.
Fairly warm out there tonight, so you don't want that Rowlett defense to have to stay out there too long. kind of reminiscent to the start of this game when Naaman Forest didn't take a snap of offense until midway late first quarter because of the interception return and some funny things that happened there and some weird things have happened here to start the second half.
And now Rowlett is in danger of that scenario happening to them. Empty backfield for Trey Walton from the 48-yard line, making the 49. Man in motion right to left. That's Rideau. Walton takes the snap, fires to the right side, hit hard by the defensive back, and a flag comes flying in.
Great reaction. He wasn't fooled by the pump fake the other way. Isaiah Armstrong stayed with his man, and it's a legal procedure anyway. So you're going to take this penalty because they got 4 out of it, so you'd rather have 1st and 15 instead of 2nd and 6 after that.
Legal formation, more than 4 was in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Down.
So when the man went in motion, one of the receivers did not step up when that happened.
Actually, it would have been 3rd and 6. So they're going to take 2nd and 11 instead of 3rd and 6. Interesting decision.
One of those that teeters right on the edge of what you should do and should not do. Now trips to the right side from the left hash mark. Walton in the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. Walton steps up, throws it out to the flat to Kingsland Bentley. Kingsley Bennett, that is, past the midfield mark to the 49.
Kingsland Bentley sounds like a Highland Park law firm.
And a gain of about 7 on the play makes it 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4 from the 49-yard line of Rowlett.
And really, third down is meaningless because they got 2 downs here to get the first down. You figure they'd go for it on 4th.
4th and 15, make it 4:15 left to go in the third. 3rd and 4, 15-10 the score. Naaman over Rowlett. 2 receivers on the other side of the formation. Walton in the shotgun calling for a receiver to go in motion. That's Jaden Flores. He drops back. Here comes the pressure and fires and caught. That's a 38-yard line. That's Mickey DeLuna. Got to the 39-yard line and a first down for Naaman Forest. He stepped into that throw. Did Trey Walton after the pressure was coming and delivered a strike. 3:56 on the clock in the third, 15-10, Naaman Forest over Rowlett. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Tied into the ball game for the Naaman Forest Rangers. That's Chandler Davis, the 6-foot senior. 2 receivers to the right side. The lone receiver to the left side is Jaden Davis. Flores. And a whistle comes in.
Delay a game.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Not watching the play clock, and you know what? I wasn't watching either.
But it's not our job to watch.
And pushes them back 5 yards. 1st and 15 from the 44-yard line, going left to right. Middle of the field for Trey Walton. Davis, the wide receiver, the tight end in the ball game. They hand it to Kingsley Bennett. Up the middle he goes, past the 40 to the 35 to 30. Has some space. A block downfield inside the 20 to 15, and finally knocked down at the 13-yard line. A huge run by Kingsley Bennett. The 5'8" senior is on a roll now.
They ran that to the short side of the field, kind of a misdirection of the backfield. Short side of the field, and there was only really 2 defenders down there. One of them was blocked well. Give a lot of credit to a clearing block. He took his man way downfield, and the block by Jaden Flores was the key.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter, 15-10, Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Walton takes the snap, hands it sweeping to the right side is Bennett. Bennett spins around from a tackle, is fighting forward, gets to the 10-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play. Under 3 minutes to go in the third, and Rowlett's only had the ball for 2 plays. Same kind of thing that happened to Naaman Forest in the first half of this one.
2 plays.
Approaching 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Rowlett down by 5 after giving up a safety on their last possession. And now Walton and the Naaman Forest Rangers knocking on the door from the 10-yard line. 2nd and 7. Walton hands it up the middle. Kingsley Bennett has some space inside the 5, spins around, reaches for the goal line. Touchdown, Naaman Forest.
Fumbled it to the back of the end zone, but they called it a touchdown immediately because he crossed the plane with the football. You know, Naaman Forest, something tells me the halftime speech was all about blocking and no turnovers. Isn't it funny how well they can move the ball when they don't turn it over, as they had, 4 of them in the first half?
Absolutely. 2:16 on the clock in the third. And Naaman Forest extends their lead to 11 pending this extra point. And no field goal unit this time. They're going to go for 2.
Touchdown drives of 74 in 11 plays, and here they went 55 in 6 plays.
Jason Flores into the ballgame at tight end, and a timeout comes in.
Timeout, Naaman Forest. First choice timeout of the half.
We'll stay right here with 2:16 left.
Something tells me they didn't have the right personnel on the field, because to have to take a timeout on an extra point is just a waste of one of your 3. Let's keep it right here. KHYI, KXEZ 92.1, 95.3, The Range, deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. We thank you for listening and your support. We'd also like to see if you want to be a sponsor. You can sponsor these games, or Cattle Mills games, or the playoffs coming up. We'd love to have you. Just call this number, 972-251-0725. Very affordable. Good way to reach your customers. Call 972-251-0725. Advantage Storage, one of our Eagles sponsors tonight, as well as Chick-fil-A, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, First Baptist Church of Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike's Subs, the Musgrove Agency. More in a moment. Back to play.
Trey Walton in the shotgun in the pistol formation. Behind him is Kingsley Bennett. Man in motion. That's Flores left to right. The snap to Walton's low. Flag comes out. Looks to the left. Throws it in the flat to Flores, who dives for the end zone, and he's got it. But there is a flag in the backfield, and it looks like it's going to go against Naaman Forest.
It's on Naaman.
Legal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So what do you do now? Kick the extra point or go from the 7? The official has left his microphone on, unfortunately. So what do you do here?
It is tough to say. It looks like...
I think I'd kick it now. 11-point lead. You could use the 12th point.
Please reset the game clock to 2:16.
You could use the point because it would make it a 12-point lead, make it technically a 3-possession game.
And no, they're keeping the offense out there.
2-possession game. Interesting here.
Stacked wide receivers on either side of the formation. A man in motion left to right. Walton in the shotgun, rolls out to the right side. Stops, looks to the left, fires to the left side, back of the end zone, and well out of bounds. No good. It stays a 2-possession game, 21 or 11-point game, 21-10.
Well-designed play. All the flow came to the right, including they flooded the end zone with receivers, except for one receiver who started in the end zone on the right and then went across the back of the end zone trying to go undetected.
Please reset the game.
Unfortunately,
that was on time down.
Oh, boy, once they give the officials microphones, they just abuse them, don't they?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately for Naaman Forest, Rowlett did detect the motion in the back of the end zone, and it also was too deep of a pass, and he couldn't come down with it inbounds. But good job of recognizing it by the Rowlett secondary.
21-10, 2:16 left here in the third. Rowlett's ball right after this on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back on 92.1 FM at KXEZ, 21-10 the score. Joel Rios to kick off for Naaman Forest. Gets this one away. Librera fields it at the 7-yard line. Cuts it upfield past the 15, the 20, has a hole past the 25-yard line, and Rowlett will take over at the 16.
Rest of our Eagles sponsors tonight: Whataburger, Ultimate Driving School, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Sign Guy DFW, Shenanigans, Rowlett Food, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, the Musgrove Agency, and Jersey Mike's Subs, Jason's Deli, First Baptist Church, Rowlett, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, Chick-fil-A, and Advantage Storage. Thanks to all of our sponsors.
So this will be the second possession of the game, of the second half, I beg your pardon, for Rowlett. They had two plays that ended up in a safety in their first possession. This time, trying to move the ball. Trips to the right side from the 27-yard line. 1st and 10, 2:09 on the clock. And delay of game.
Delay of game.
Another one.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It'll push Rowlett back 5 yards. 1st and 15 from the 22. Trips to the right side from the right hash mark. Harris Boyd in the shotgun. Devontae Crow to the right of him. Wipes his hand on his towel. Go to the right side. Pop pass out to the right side. And incomplete. Intended for a couple of receivers. It was thrown in the middle of a couple of receivers. Makes it 2nd and 15 from the 22. James Okolo, who we've seen behind center all season long, has been lining up in the slot and has had a nice game so far. Okolo with 4 catches for 45 yards. Dual wide receiver set. Dropping back is Harris Boyd. Looks to the right side, fires to the right side. Low throw, incomplete, intended for Corey Kirkling. 3rd and 15. 2 incomplete passes. They have been pass heavy all game long. I mean, the run game, they've pretty much abandoned it, Scott.
Boyd, I mean, they had 5 rushes midway second quarter. Boyd is just not comfortable in the pocket tonight. He's more comfortable when he's rolling the pocket to his left, especially. When he has to drop back, stand, and plant his feet, he's been very inaccurate on very completable passes.
Shotgun snap for Boyd. Drops back, fires to the right side, and threads the needle. Got to the 32-yard line and past the 40, past the 45. On the run was that big-time receiver Corey Kirkling, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything I just said, I take it back. That time he stood in the pocket tall in a nice pocket made by the offensive line, stepped into that throw and fired a bullet. As you said, we've been using the term threaded the needle all night. Perfect pass on a deep slant.
First down, 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line, a minute 30 in the third. Dropping back is Boyd. Here comes the pressure. Fires to the right side and incomplete. In and out of the hands of Corey Kirkling. A nice pass, but Kirkling was well covered, and the ball was jarred loose on the hit.
Corey would probably tell you he should have held on, and he almost caught that, but he got some contact after the ball arrived, and give credit to the defense, the deep safeties.
1:31 on the clock in the third. 2 receivers on either side of the formation. Devontae Crow to the right of Harris Boyd. 2nd and 10 from the 47-yard line in the third quarter. Boyd calling out to his offensive line. Instructions. Next play coming. Boyd gets set, takes the snap, rolls to the right, fires to the right, and incomplete. Intended for James Okolo, and a flag comes in late. A flag was thrown toward the end of the play, however, thrown about 15 yards.
Yeah, from the back, Judge, a little further away also where he threw the
We had 2 fouls on the play. Defensive pass interference number 56. No, correction, both of them was on the defense. We had roughing the passer on the offense. On the defense.
There we go. Coach your referee Carl Davis.
That's one time they wish they didn't have the microphone.
They both were.
Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 fouls on the defense, including roughing the passer. This is going to be an automatic first down and a 15.
Pass interference declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
We've had 2 roughing the passers against Naaman Forest tonight.
To bring him to the 38-yard line with a minute 25 to go in the third. Down 21-10. Rowlett is to Naaman Forest.
We've had several first downs tonight via penalties.
The receivers left to right are Long, McGallion, Okolo, and on the far right side is Kirkling. Crow to the left of Harris Boyd in a shotgun. From the right hash mark, going right to left. Play action. Boyd rolls out to the right, tucks it, looks down the field, and throws it out of bounds. But he stepped out of bounds, says the referee. At the 40-yard line, it'll be ultimately a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, the head linesman over there is going to say he stepped out before he unloaded it. Just a bad mistake. He lost 2 instead of, it's a 2-yard mistake, but at least he tried to get rid of it because they flooded. He's rolling to the right, and he's finally just running out of room on the sideline. They flooded that side of the field with receivers, and not one of them was open. Good coverage all over the field by the Naaman secondary.
It'll be 2nd and 12 from the 40-yard line, 21-10. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Here in the third quarter, trips to the left side, 1 receiver to the right side. Harris Boyd wipes his hands on the towel, calls for the snap, takes the snap. Devontae Crow has it off the right side, past the 35, past the 30, still on his feet. Gets the first down inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Devontae Crow, first big run of the night for him.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, you got to run it occasionally just to keep them honest. And I was going to say, the next time they run it, it'll probably go for big yardage. I just don't know when it's coming. Well, they finally did it. You do it every 5 or 6 plays, and it might come up big because they're not expecting it.
Trips left. Boyd, high snap. Again, Devontae Crow dances around. The patient, 20-yard line, 25, make it 15-yard line. Inside of that, close to the first down mark at the 16, make it the 14.
Great call, the patient, because there was nothing there, and he just kind of stood in place and kind of chopped his feet for a couple of seconds and then saw the opening around right in to the short side and took it.
2nd and 1. Stack trips just to the left of the formation. One receiver to the right side. Crow gets it again, sweeping left, finds a hole up the middle, and still pushing down to the 13-yard line. First down, Rowlett. No signal yet.
You know, I'm tempted to say dance with what brung you, except I like changing dance partners here. All of a sudden, the running game is effective.
And they'll mark them just short of the line to gain, 3rd and about a foot.
It's not that important because you know they're going to go for it on 4th and a foot, so you got 2 chances to get a yard here.
12 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We'll see if they just let this one tick.
Not a bad idea.
Boyd lining up his offense. 4 seconds to go in the 3rd. Boyd waiting for the snap. Here it is. And did he get it off in time? He did. Sweeping to the left side. Crow gets the first down and powers his way inside the 10. First down, Rowlett. And that'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Rowlett knocking on the door. 21-10. Naaman Forest over the Eagles on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
This is the Possum. 92.1 KXEZ. Farmersville, Dallas, and KXEZ.com.
Back on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Title sponsors for Rowlett football, as we've got them all year right here on 92.1. Raising Cane's Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, and their strength in numbers join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today.
Sweet Caroline playing in the stadium, and Rowlett trying to do something sweet right now. 21-10. Start of the 4th quarter, the Eagles have been rolling on this last drive. Boyd in a shotgun, stack trips to the left side of the formation. Crow to the right of him. Corey Kirkland, the lone receiver, to the right side. Boyd calls for the snap, gets the snap, hands it up the middle. Crow passing up the 5-yard line and gets to the 5-yard line. Nice gain of about 5 on the play by Devontae Crow.
Yeah, Crow went in there with a head of steam. They'll give a lot of credit to the man who met him in the hole and drove him to the turf. Also got shaken up on the play.
Injury timeout.
Come out. Do not, I've got his name right here. That is Chandler Davis, who's made a couple of big one-on-one hits. I'll tell you, Crow lowered the head and delivered the blow as Davis is shaken up after making the tackle. And we've got kind of, I don't know, it looks like maybe somebody took a full timeout here. Which would be kind of, you don't want to be using timeouts early in the 4th quarter of a tight game.
Naaman Forest called a timeout earlier in this half, but I think it's an injury timeout on the field right now, so we will not, with 11:38.
We've got another Ranger that's shaken up who's limping off, number 63. I missed him. My fault on that. And that is
53. It was Yvonne Thompson.
Well, I don't have him on my roster anyway. Yeah, I do. Yvonne Thompson, there he is. Anyway, it's an unofficial timeout, and we will get back to play here pretty quick.
11:38 on the clock, just 22 seconds off the clock in the 4th. A big run by Devontae Crow gets them to the 5-yard line, and Kingston Johnson into the ball game now. Devontae getting a breather. Clock running, 21-10. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Boyd drops back, rolls right, looks to the end zone, fires to the end zone, wide open. And did he stay in? No, he did not.
And it looks like what they're going to say is, they're going to say he caught it out of bounds, but when an official throws his hat to the ground, that means the receiver probably steps out of the back of the end zone and stepped back in to make the catch. That's the only time they take their hat off of their head. Although I did not see it on the replay. How about you?
I didn't either. I'm looking on the replay right now, and he was definitely out of bounds, but I don't think it was after the fact.
Well, there's no penalty, so I don't know why. You don't take your hat off as an official unless you're saying a guy went out and came back. So it's just an incompleted pass, and we got 3rd and goal from the 6. So that's good news for Rowlett, actually.
11:19 on the clock here in the 4th quarter. A whistle comes in. It looks like we might get a timeout.
Timeout, Rowlett. First choice timeout of the half.
Go see the friendly folks at North Texas Appliance in Rockwall. They're at 1535 East I-30, just down the service road from the football stadium. Go by or call 972-771-0393. North Texas Appliance, a longtime sponsor of high school football here on KXEZ. And don't forget that 92.1 and 95.3 sister stations are deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. We love to have your support as a sponsor. Great way to reach your sponsors. It's very affordable. All you got to do is call this number, 972-251-0725. Again, 888-251-0725 to be a sponsor of high school football here on KXEZ.
11:19 here in the fourth quarter, 21-10. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Third and goal from the 6-yard line. Harris Boyd just missed a wide-open Corey Kirkling, but we're going to do it again.
Could be a 4-point play because they're definitely in field goal range here.
Stack trips to the right side of the formation. Boyd, shotgun, takes the snap, rolls out to the right side. Here comes the pressure. Still rolling, directing traffic, trying to get out of bounds, and throws it to the back of the end zone, and incomplete. Acted like he was just going to walk out of bounds at the last second, threw it up, maybe try to draw a penalty in the back of the end zone, but it looks like the field goal unit will come down as it's now 4th and goal from the 6.
And here comes your kicker, Mr. Martin.
Jacob Martin has had a fantastic year, maybe not quantity of field goals, but what he's had with them, he has been spot on.
The holder will put it down about the 13, making a 23-yard attempt. That's Ty Cooper holding.
A little tough angle from the left hash mark.
Yeah, for a right-footed kicker. You got to push it just a little bit, but it is very short.
Jacob Martin. Hold is down, kick is up, and it's right through the uprights. Field goal is good. 3 points on the board for Rowlett as Jacob Martin knocks in his second field goal of the game. 21-13, 11:03 in the fourth. Naaman Forest still leading Rowlett on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back here on 92.1 FM KXEZ, Jacob Martin just nailed his second field goal of the game. 11:03 on the clock, 21-13. Naaman over Rowlett.
Nice drive, although it stalled at the 6. They went 10 plays, 67 yards, and used 3:03 off the clock. Big field goal there because now they're within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion of staying in the game and tying it. So they had to get points out of that possession, and they did. That's not an easy. I know it's 23 yards. His left hash. And think about how defeating that would be for Rowlett if he had missed that field goal.
Absolutely.
There was a lot. That was one of the more pressurized 23-yarders you'll ever see.
And Jacob Martin delivered.
At least it was pressure up here. I don't know how he felt it on the field.
He's been cool all game long, all season long. Jack Hager now to kick off for the Eagles and does. Low line drive kick to the right sideline and out of bounds. A flag coming in.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we had a close game tonight. You're really getting your exercise tonight. I've never seen Herrera jump in and out of his chair as much as he has tonight. We've had some blowout games tonight where he's gone to sleep at times doing the broadcast. He's so good at it he can sleep and still give the play-by-play. But anyway.
Well, I've got to get some sort of exercise in today.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Legal kick out of bounds. 5-yard penalty from where it went out of bounds spot. First down. Naaman Forest.
Well, you heard the referee, Carl Davis, as you have all night long, maybe a little too much at times, but the ball is going to be spotted at the 30-yard line for Naaman Forest to take over.
Big time for Rowlett to step up. Naaman has gone on the first two possessions of this half, a 74 and a 55-yard scoring drive. Rowlett needs to reestablish the defense that dominated the first half.
Walton in the pistol formation, handed to Bennett.
Bennett
fumbles the ball after the snap, and Rowlett saying they have it, and they do. The Eagles, another turnover, and they take it away.
Ja'Cory Brown with his third recovery.
Wow.
You know how impossible that really is when you think about it? I know it sounds easy to just fall on a ball right there in the middle, but to do it 3 times in one game, are you kidding me?
Right place, right time for Ja'Cory Brown, and the Eagles are back in action.
RPRT ought to be his new nickname.
10:56 here in the fourth quarter, 21-13. It's an 8-point game. And Harris Boyd and this Eagle offense come back out on the field. It's going to be trips to the right side. Boyd in the shotgun. Crow to the left of him. Lone receiver Trey Long on the left side of the field. Play action. Here's the pressure. Stepping up is Boyd. Boyd, left side, looking, trying to get out of pressure at the 30-yard line and tosses it forward for an incomplete pass. What a nice and smart play by Harris Boyd, bringing up 2nd and 10 from the 27. 21-13 the score.
He had 4 receivers, mostly deep down the field, and they were completely covered up. He did a smart thing, just tossing it out of bounds. Kind of a shovel pass, you might say, out of bounds.
The thing about Boyd in the shotgun is that we haven't seen him all year long. He's so calm and makes the right play and good pocket presence and awareness. Trips to the left side from the right hash mark. Boyd In the shotgun, Crow to the left of him, calling plays out to his offensive line, and Crow shifts back to the left side. Kirkling to the right side of the formation. Pump fake. Kirkling to the right side. Boyd tosses it up and incomplete, but there was a shove.
Yeah, no call. Explain that. I mean, it was an obvious push by the corner. He didn't have to push him, by the way, but he did push Kirkling right before the ball arrived. It was pretty obvious. I'm really shocked. There's an official right on top of it, and then the back judge who had an even better view from it. Remember, sometimes the furthest guy away will make the call. I'm just shocked by that.
It was the two-way player that's now been playing on Corey Kirkling. That's Jaden Flores. No call. It's 3rd and 10 from the 27.
Was the ball catchable would be the only question, and it looked like it was.
Two receivers on either side. Boyd looks left, fires right, and through the hands of a defender and into the hands of Corey Kirkling. First down, Rowlett converting on a 3rd and 10 down to the 16-yard line.
This had pick off and maybe pick six written all over it, didn't it?
Absolutely.
He stuck his arms in, went right between the wickets.
And a dart thrown to Corey Kirkling, and a 1st and 10 from the 16 with 10:20 on the clock. 21-13, Rowlett trailing by 8 to Naaman Forrest. Dual halfback set for Harris Boyd and the Eagles. McGallion, the tight end, to the right of the formation, awaits the snap, gets the snap. Play action, throws to the right side on the slant and incomplete and almost into the hands of, again, that cornerback, Jaden Flores.
It's the same play. They picked one off earlier where the quarterback and the receiver are not on the same page. Receiver cuts it in. The quarterback throws it to the numbers like it's a stop route. They picked it off back in the first half, that exact same mistake, and they got lucky that this one was not picked off.
Well, Coach Derek Alford did say that he didn't practice all week long, so it's maybe a timing issue with a couple of these receivers. That's Harris Boyd. Now, dual wide receiver set, Crow to the right of Boyd. In the shotgun from the 16-yard line, 2nd and 10. Rolling out to the right side, steps up in the pocket, avoids the pressure. Throws to the end zone, jump ball, and incomplete. A nice defensive play by that Naaman Forest Ranger, Lamont Potts Jr.
Well, he almost made a great play, the quarterback Boyd, rolling and kind of flushed out. His body is going to the left, and he tries to throw it back to the right into the right corner of the end zone from one hash mark to the other corner of the end zone. And so he had to improvise. He underhanded it and sidearmed it and almost got away with it. It was just slightly underthrown. It took a perfect pass, and it was not. He did the best he could.
3rd and 10 from the 16 now. 9:57 on the clock. 21-13. Rowlett trails the Naaman Forest Rangers. Boyd takes the snap, looks right, fires right, jump ball, and incomplete. James Akulla, the intended receiver, he wants a flag. The crowd wants a flag. Heck, I want a flag, but none comes in.
It looks like they're going to settle for a field goal, which, with 9:51 left, this is not a bad decision. I guarantee you they were hoping for more than a field goal out of this possession, because now it's going to take another possession for them to take the lead back.
It'll be 4th and 10. The field goal unit does come out.
This is not a chip shot. This is 33 yards, although right hash for the right-footed kicker. It's a good angle, but 33 yards, his range is 40-42.
Martin awaits the snap. Cooper gets the hold down. Ball is up, angling to the left side of the field goal post, and no good. Wide left.
Yeah, he just mishit it. It was a low, hooking line drive. Sounded like a bad golf shot, I know, but that's what it looked like. It looked like a bad golf shot. It looked like a duck hook, and he just did not get all that, because I know he's got the leg from that distance.
9:45 on the clock, and what looked like a promising takeaway for Rowlett yields no points, and it's still an 8-point game, 21-13. Naaman Forrest and Trey Walton will take over at the 20-yard line.
Defense had a good rest there. They need a stop here pretty quickly.
Man, offsides as they snap the ball, and no flag on the field. I don't know what's going on, as there was a man coming in from the sideline offside, and now they talk about it.
They killed it. I think they're going to get the penalty, the call made. It's just I'm not sure they were on top of it from the beginning, as you were frustrated by. It is a procedure against Naaman. They got it. It just didn't come as timely as you were hoping for.
Sorry, I was a little pumped up about it. And you see me standing up, Scott, and I'm
legal substitution, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
First time I've ever seen you broadcast where a chair is not needed.
9:41 on the clock in the fourth, 21-13. From the 15-yard line, going right to left. Trips out to the right side for Trey Walton. To the left is Bennett. They hand it to Bennett. To the right side, Hasson's pace across the 15, the 20, 25, 30. Cuts to the middle, 40, 50, cuts back to the sideline, and now back to the middle of the field and brought down inside Rowlett territory. A big, explosive run for Kingsley Bennett, the senior.
Just a sweep right. He cut it at the hash mark. They just did a good job. I mean, there's just beautiful blocking. Nobody touched him. He did a good job of weaving through the secondary, cut it back to the middle. And I tell you, I keep saying he's not the fastest guy in the world. He looked like the fastest guy in the world right there.
Mackay Bird comes in probably for the winded Bennett. Doubles wide receiver set for Walton. Ball placed at the 42, 1st and 10, 9-11 on the clock. To the left side goes Mackay. Mackay tripped up at around the 37-yard line, and Mackay Bird, nice run on 1st down, makes it 2nd and about 7 on the play. 8:56 and counting in the 4th quarter. Rowlett needs a big stop. The line to gain is the 32. And now Bennett comes back into the ballgame after taking one play off. Walton, the big quarterback for Naaman Forest, standing 6'3", 210 pounds, has had a quiet game, but a very nice game of controlling the tempo for the Naaman Forest team. In the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right side, man in motion, it's Flores. They hand it to him. Jet sweep to the right side, past the 40, trying to get outside. Outside the numbers he goes, and down past the 35-yard line, about a yard shy of the line to gain.
Again, the down doesn't mean much. It's 3rd down. They're in definite 4-down territory, only needing 2.
And right here in big moments, you look for Michael Ibukun Okeode on that right defensive end to make a play. He's been the anchor all season long for Rowlett.
Quietly, Bennett over 100 yards, 23 carries, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Under 8 minutes to go on the 4th, trip to the left side. Walton in the shotgun. Bennett to the right of him. Takes the snap. Hands it to Bennett. Bennett finds a hole. Finds the crease. Past the 30. Ball's on the ground again. Rowlett saying they have it. Referees coming in and waiting for the call. They push bodies up the pile, trying to find the ball.
Could it be turnover number 6 against Naaman?
And they do. Rowlett takes it. Another takeaway for the Eagles. And this defense taking everything they can, trying to give their offense a chance. And we'll see if they have the chance and make way with that chance right now.
I tell you, the Rowlett defense has held them to 279 yards. It's a team that averages close to 500 coming into the game, but 279, especially in the second half, they pretty much dominated the line of scrimmage. Turnovers are just killing Naaman Forest. 6th turnover of the night. And the only thing that's stopped them here in the second half has been turnovers.
That's 5 fumbles now, and 5 fumbles recovered by the Rowlett defense. Harris Boyd comes back onto the offensive side of the ball behind center. Crow to the right of him. Dual wide receiver set from the 27-yard line. 21-13. Naaman over Rowlett. Fires to the right side. Caught by Kirkling at the 37-yard line. Makes a man miss. Past the 40. Past the 45. Still on his feet. Past the midfield mark inside Naaman Forest territory. Past the 45 to the 43-yard line. Beautiful play on 1st and 10 in a big game with 7:35 in the 4th.
Beautiful throw into a deep zone. He was surrounded by defenders, but nobody closed as the ball arrived, and then he just split them and dragged a tackler 5 yards.
Stacked up, wide receiver set, 2 receivers on either side. Crow to the right of Boyd. He points at a defender. He knows the blitz is coming. Man in motion. Play action. Boyd steps back, has in the pocket, throws it deep down the field. He's got Kirkling for the end zone and just missed him. He was wide open, had about 5 yards on the back safety, and Kirkling just could not reach that ball as Boyd just overthrew him by the fingertips.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. The receiver, he wasn't wide open, but he broke loose at the last minute, and that made him look a lot more open than he was. It took a perfect throw, and it just wasn't perfect.
7:11 on the clock in the 4th. 2nd and 10 from the 43-yard line. 21-13. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Radnaru into the ball game for Corey Kirkling, who's winded. Throw from the right to the left of Boyd. Awaits. And now back to the right side. Boyd in the shotgun from the right hash mark. Awaits the snap. Takes the snap. Here comes the pressure. Throws it out to the screen pass. Crow. Crow caught at the 45-yard line and gets a yard on the play. Gain of 1. 3rd and 9 coming. 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Harris Boyd trying to avoid the sack. Tosses it out. It was a designed screenplay, and now a down to Ranger.
Injury timeout. Injury timeout.
Let's keep it right here. Oh, I don't know. Let's take a 30-second timeout. Why don't we? Here on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
6:50 on the clock in the fourth quarter, 21-13. Naaman Forest over Rowlett. Trips to the right side for Harris Boyd. Crow to the right of him. 3rd and 9 from the 42. Boyd takes the snap, rolls out to the right side, fires on the run. Got a man at the 35. That's Akolo. Akolo pushes forward, close to the first down mark. He's got the first down, and rolling the chains are Harris Boyd and the Rowlett Eagles.
Great job by Akolo to catch the ball right at the first down mark, and he's on the other side away from the chains. He went just deep enough to catch it and have the first down and gain a couple of extra yardage. Good heady play.
How big has Akolo been coming from that quarterback position now to that slot receiver? He lines to the left slot in the trips formation. Boyd fires to the right side and almost picked off by the big defensive end, Marquise Deal, the junior, standing at 6'5", 295 pounds.
Yeah, it would have been hard for him to go the distance with that ball. First of all, Harris Boyd would have been the best guy with the best shot at him to keep him from going the distance, but as big as he is, he would have had a chance. That had a chance of being a pick six.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line, 6:28 on the clock in the fourth, 21-13. The Rowlett Eagles trail Naaman Forest here in a big-time district matchup. Again, this will tie them if Rowlett could win this ball game. Trips to the left side. Boyd running out to the right side, fires to the right sideline, and incomplete, intended for Kirkling at the 20-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 10, 6:23 on the clock.
A Rowlett win tonight, regardless of what happens tomorrow, Rowlett would be in at least a tie for 3rd place. Tonight they're in a tie for 4th place coming in. A loss would put them in 5th place.
And like you mentioned over the broadcast, this doesn't completely erase them from playoff contention.
No, it would greatly increase their chances.
Absolutely. 21-13. Rowlett trails. Doubles wide receiver set from the right hash mark going left to right. Crow to the left of Harris Boyd. Boyd calls for the snap, gets the snap, drops back, looks left, still looking left, fires to the left sideline, and incomplete. But there's a flag on the play at the 35.
I don't think this is going to be for interference because this is way away from the play. But I'll tell you, these officials in the secondary have let them get away with a lot of contact. And I'm not just talking about Naaman Forest. They are calling it really loose in the secondary, allowing a lot of pushing and contact. But they've been doing it all night. They've been very consistent.
I couldn't agree more. The intended receiver was Xander McGallion. We're not quite sure. Well, I'm not quite sure what this play penalty flag could be about.
Personal foul, shot block, 23 and 64 to offense, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That is a huge penalty against Rowlett as it pushes them back from 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 25.
Takes you way out of field goal range. Yeah, you've got 2 downs, but you've got to get all the way to the 21, and you're at the 46. So you need 2 big plays just to get the first down and keep this drive alive.
3rd and 10 from that 46-yard line, going left to right, 6:17 on the clock. It's an 8-point game, 21-13. Rowlett trails Naaman Forest, 13 seconds on the play clock, and they're not looking like they're anywhere close to being set.
You're at least 20 yards from even being in field goal range.
Doubles wide receiver set. Boyd wipes his hands on his towel. 3 seconds on the play clock. Takes the snap. Looks to the right side. Fires to the right side. He's got Kirkling at the 32. Falls down at the 30-yard line, and Corey Kirkling having a nice game, getting those possession catches, and puts them back to the 10, the original line of scrimmage, 4th and 10 from the 31.
Yeah. Remember, we watched pregame warm-ups. Martin's range appears to be, he's his best from 40 to 42. Right now, it would be about 48. I think it's out of his range. You know, I'm not sure 3 points does him a whole lot of good anyway, so they've really got to go for this on 4th and 10.
4th and 10 from the 31-yard line, 5:45 on the clock. Boyd trying to draw him off sides, takes the snap, drops back, has the pressure, moves in the pocket, looks to the left, Boyd sacked, and trying to get away and fires a ball out of bounds, incomplete, turnover on downs, and the Rowlett Eagles will try to stop them defensively with 5:33 on the clock.
Or just accept another turnover. I mean, Naaman is what? How many times have they fumbled the ball within a yard of the line of scrimmage, right where the ball was snapped?
Probably 4 or 5 times.
Because that's where Jacory's had 3 recoveries right almost where the ball was snapped. So, hey, I still say it could be Christmas morning here with 5:33 left. They've already handed Rowlett several Christmas presents. They could use one more little unwrapping right here.
It was a defensive touchdown to start the game for Naaman Forest. Other than that, they've scored 2 touchdowns on their own, and now Rowlett trying to make something happen defensively, something they're so strong at. Trips to the right side for Trey Walton. Low snap. Hand it to Bennett. Past the 30, the 35. Hit hard at the 40-yard line, near the 40. They'll mark him at the 39. It'll be second and short with 5:20 on the clock in the fourth. We're going to see a lot of that this possession, just trying to run that clock down. Approaching 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes left in this crucial district matchup.
Well, they are definitely working the play clock. Rowlett with 2 timeouts left.
Trips to the left side for Trey Walton. Bennett to the right of him. Awaits the snap. 5 seconds on the play clock. Here's the snap. Bennett takes it. Hit in the backfield. There's that defensive line once again. Coming in hot is Corey Brown.
The recovery man.
4:30 on the clock in the fourth. 21-13. It'll be a 3rd and 4. From the 37-yard line, make it a 38.
They don't have to stop him here, but in order to have a decent amount of time left, a stop would be huge right here. Otherwise, it's going to be a mad scramble with 2 minutes and just 2 timeouts.
4:12 on the clock. Here in the fourth quarter, trips to the left side for Walton. Man in motion, left to right. That's Raidu. Play action to the right side. Caught on the slant. First down, Naaman Forrest. That's that man, Jaden Flores, who's been so key for this Naaman Forrest offense all season long and makes a big 3rd and 4 play for him.
Now, with barring a turnover, and there's a good chance of another turnover. They've given it away many times, very easily tonight, just unforced errors. But barring a turnover, Rowlett's going to have less than 2 minutes if they can get the ball back at all.
2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. That's Flores. 2 running backs into the ball game, 1 behind Walton, 1 to the right of him. Looks like the blitz is coming. They do. Bennett to the 35, to the 45, past the 50-yard line, inside Rowlett territory to the 48-yard line with 3:20 to go.
I'll say it again. Naaman Forrest from the get-go here in the second half has been able to run the ball consistently well. The only thing that has stopped Naaman Forrest in the second half has been their own mistakes, their own turnovers, stupid turnovers, really.
Absolutely.
The only thing stopping Naaman Forrest in the second half is Naaman Forrest. And will they stop themselves one more time and give Rowlett another chance, or there's a chance Naaman's just going to run this whole clock out the way it's looking?
Under 3 minutes now to go. He left in the fourth quarter, approaching 6 seconds on the play clock. 21-13 the score. Naaman over Rowlett. Bennett again reverses field. Past the 45, past the 40, the 30. Open space. 20, 15, 10, 5. Naaman Forrest touchdown.
We had a little scrum back behind the play, but it is no flag. It will not erupt. It will not change the result of the play. And looks like that's going to be the ball game. Naaman's going to win this one.
2:33 on the clock.
Give Naaman Forrest credit. They could not run the ball at all in the first half, and they have dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half, except for a couple of turnovers that kept Rowlett in the game and gave them a chance.
Joel Rios on for the extra point try. Trying to make it a 15-point game. Rios, the left-footed kicker. Snap is down, hold is down, kick is up, and it's good. 28-13, 27-13. 28-13 with 2:33 left in the fourth. Rowlett trails big time to Naaman Forrest now on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back on 92.1 FM at KXEZ, a huge blow to the Rowlett side as a big-time run from Kingsley Bennett makes it a 2-possession game, a 15-point game, 28-13, Naaman Forrest over Rowlett.
One more thanks to our Eagles sponsors tonight, Advantage Storage, Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, Ultimate Driving School, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Sign Guy DFW, First Baptist Church Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike Subs, the Musgrove Agency, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, Rowlett Food, and Shenanigans, thanks to our Eagle sponsors. Got a lot of football coming the rest of the weekend, as we'll talk about as we close this one out tonight. More on that here in a moment.
Joel Rios on to kick off for Naaman Forrest. Joel Rios And this one will go out of bounds. Flag comes in, of course. It's 28-13, Naaman Forest over Rowlett.
Not over yet. I'm not ready to update the standings just yet, but it's going to take a big play quickly and then an onside kick recovery to have any chance, down by 15.
Both teams with 2 timeouts left as well.
Free kick out of bounds. Ball be placed at the 30-yard line. First down, Rowlett.
That helps Rowlett just a little bit. We've seen big play offense before with Okolo throwing the ball downfield, and of course the Corey Kirkland. There was a game where he had 210 yards with
that was
2 touchdowns.
The last game,
right?
Yeah.
And
no, that was 2 games.
2 games ago. So we've seen Kirkland break free. We've seen it, glimpses of it now, and I'm wondering if that's the route they're going to go as this ball is placed in the left hash mark. Trey Long is the lone receiver outside the numbers on the left side, trips to the right side. Harris Boyd in the shotgun. 28-13 the score. He rolls out to the right side. Boyd fires to the 40-yard line. Caught by McGallion. Makes the man miss and then brought down near the 40 at the 39-yard line with 2:23 left.
He had 9 catches for 220 yards against Wiley. Is that the one you were thinking of?
Absolutely. So it may look like they're going back that way. That's who I would go to as Kirkling lines wide right. Boyd in the shotgun. They hand to Crow up the middle. Past the 40, they get the first down, so the clock stops just a bit to the 42.
If he had ripped off 30 yards, I wouldn't complain. But, when you only get 3, you have to kind of wonder about the play call. But they were trying to catch him by surprise,
especially with 2 minutes now, and Boyd trying to move quickly. Dual wide receiver set. He's talking to his wide receivers to get set. They finally do. Waits the snap. Here is the snap. And Crow, another sweep out to the left side, makes the man miss at the 40. Helmet comes off and dragged out of bounds at the 40-yard line. An odd couple of play calls in a row by Coach Derek Alford.
Let's look at some of these final offensive numbers for Naaman, because even if they get the ball back, they're probably just going to take a knee. Rowlett defensively held him to 16 first downs, 336 yards, a lot of that in the second half. Let's update that. 18 first downs, 405 yards of total offense. 161 passing, 244 on the ground, and a lot of that in the second half. That was the key.
Play action of Boyd. He rolls out to the left side, out of pressure. Boyd just throws it forward, and they're going to say he stepped out of bounds before he threw the ball forward, and he's out of bounds at the 33. We've seen Boyd do that a couple of times, but he's made it work. This time was caught kind of slacking on that one.
Naaman Forest, 6 turnovers, 12 penalties for 105 yards. Walton, 15 of 23, only 8 misses, but just 161 yards. And Bennett was the key, especially second half. He finished with 194 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing.
3rd and 20 from the 34-yard line, 1:27 on the clock in the fourth, 28-13 the score. Man in motion right to left, that's Crow. Low snap for Boyd. Rolls out to the left side, looks downfield. This time tucks it and runs, get a couple of yards on the play and out of bounds at near the 40-yard line, actually near the 35 at the 36.
Let's remind you one more time what we have coming up this weekend. Tomorrow night, Ethan will bring you Caddo Mills and Community. Kickoff at 7:30, pregame 7:15. Then next Friday, we have another Rowlett game for you, all of them right here at 92.1. They'll be at Williams to take on Garland, the district-leading Garland Owls. That'll be a challenge. 7 o'clock kickoff, our pregame with the We Will Win Coaches Show at 6:45 a week from tomorrow, next Friday night. And then we got the Aggies on Saturday. That's a 6:30 kick, 5:30 pregame right here on KXEZ, your Metroplex home for the Aggies.
Boyd drops back, fires this one down the sideline, incomplete, and that'll just about do it. The 4th down conversion, no good. 1:10 on the clock, and Naaman Forest will take the ball back. You got to wonder about that last possession for Rowlett. A couple of odd play calls, and then nothing doing.
Final stats now for Rowlett, 18 first downs, 280 yards, but they were outgained 405 to 280. 239 through the air for Harris Boyd, though, on 19 of 51. Very low percentage, which showed his rustiness quite a bit. A couple of interceptions. Again, rushing has been the problem all year for Rowlett. Just 41 yards on the ground, 2.7 per carry. They cut down on the mistakes, 7 penalties, 55 yards, and 2 turnovers. Boyd, I mentioned his numbers, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Crow, the leader, rushing 14 for 38, by far the leader.
Walton will take a knee in that victory formation, and that will run the clock down. Have to do one more. Right now it's 28-13, Naaman over Rowlett.
Kirkling, 7 catches, 153 yards. Good return to the lineup. Okola, first game as a receiver after being the quarterback the last few weeks. 5 catches, 56 yards. Showed some good flashes as a receiver. Maybe he was a receiver before he took over at quarterback. I can't remember that far back. But
at least in the first game, he did not have a receiving snap. He didn't have a catch, I should say, a reception.
And then we'll kind of update the standings for you here in just a second and kind of give you some possibilities as another knee is taken. Rowlett falls from 4th to 5th place going into the games tomorrow night. They've got 3 losses. That's in 5th place. And there'll be a game out of 3rd. So what? Rowlett has lost to Wiley. Wiley is in solo 3rd place at 3-2, and they're a half game behind Wiley. So what Wiley needs tomorrow night is for Lakeview, who is capable, to beat Wiley. And remember, Rowlett still has Lakeview to play in Week 11. So as far as tiebreakers and stuff, that is a huge game. Rowlett needs a Lakeview win over Wiley tomorrow night. Lakeview is 1-3. So here are the standings. Garland 4-0, Saxe 3-1, Naaman Forest 4-1, Wiley 2-2, Rowlett 2-3, Lakeview and North Garland are 1-3, South Garland 0-4, and tomorrow night, Wiley and Lakeview, Garland plays North Garland, and Saxe plays South Garland. So I expect Garland and Saxe to win those games tomorrow night and remain 1-2 in the district.
And that final buzzer sounds as the game is over, and 28-13 will be the final score. Naaman Forest takes down the Eagles as they put up a heck of a fight, especially on the defensive end, but ultimately is the Naaman Forest running back Kingsley Bennett who delivered the final blow and really tore apart this defense for Rowlett.
Yeah, again, I would have loved to have been in the Naaman Forest locker room at halftime. They came out and established the line of scrimmage and just ran it and stuffed it down Rowlett's throats. Two just unforced turnovers are the only things that stopped Naaman Forest driving the football in the second half, and they just took control of the game and won it. Rowlett just could not answer in the second half. So, again, halftime adjustments by Naaman Forest, I think, got the job done tonight.
Well, they take on a Garland team who's number 1 in the district, one of the toughest teams in the area, I should say, as Rowlett falls 28-13.
And that'll be a tough one because Garland is already they beat Saxe pretty handily, and Saxe beat Rowlett pretty handily. So that makes for a really rough matchup for Rowlett next week.
Well, we'll have it for you here on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Shout out Arsal, and for our studio producer, Ethan Brooks, for Scott Powell, my color commentator here in the booth, I'm Ethan Herrera, wishing you good night from Homer B. Johnson Stadium on 92.1 FM KXEZ.